Yo, Joe!
He's frozen. What's up, everybody? Welcome to our brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. This is, as you can probably tell, the G.I. Joe edition that we've been talking about like the whole past week, and we're super amped up. We got a special guest with us who's going to be with us for the entire episode. We got Tim Tabala.
Tim.
There he goes again.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Joe.
Joe is the code name for America.
Should we just? I mean, they are. All right. Well, hopefully you know what G.I. Joe is before you tuned in tonight.
What's up,
yeah.
boss?
So thanks a lot for jumping in, and thanks for catching us, whether it's on the Facebook stream or if you're on YouTube or if you're catching us on Instagram or Twitter or if it's the audio only version on wherever you get your podcasts. Much appreciated as always. Yeah, and also with me as always is Jason. Jason, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on tonight? I've got my G.I. Joe name. I am Fish and Chips. All right, because I'll do a great English accent and I'll make some Maine fish and chips, mate. All right. Plus, my last name's Fishetic, so it's Fisch and Chips. It's a fun.
I like that. I like that.
You nailed it.
No, I like that stuff.
You'd make a great dreadnought.
I would make a great. I would. I could get like the ponytail, like bald, but the ponytail, right? I'd look really sleazy. I'd get like a vest, like a dirty vest. Oh, I'm making fish and chips. Hey, road pig, get over here!
And you need a moped. I think you need a moped.
I need a moped. Yes.
with a basket on the front, with the Cobra symbol.
That's right. Well, I got to go fishing for the fish and chips. Don't I? Put it in a basket.
There you go.
Here's my Cobra reel, because everything is Cobra brand.
Everything is Cobra.
Of course,
everything has time to put a logo on it.
Exactly.
Well,
I mean, if you're trying to like hide from a government agency that's trying to hunt you down, why would you not put your logo over every single thing you can?
If you're not overproducing like that, if you are not hyping yourself up, then what's the point of being a global international terrorist?
That's true. I agree with that.
I'm all in with that one. That's true. All right, so we're gonna start off our G.I. Joe episode, which, by the way, if you're watching us, you've noticed we've even changed our background for this one. I think I can agree. Like, this is the three of us are pretty amped up for this episode. Is where like G.I. Joe really hits home, going back to like childhood and everything like that. Like, we were all about it. So, but we're gonna start this episode off as always. Is Jason? You can't forget about Baywatch Nights.
Cannot.
Some might tune in for this specifically, and then tune us out. So, Jason, tell us about it.
I hope so. I hope there are people who were just here for Baywatch Nights. And by the way, I think David Hasselhoff, why has he not been in a G.I. Joe movie? He's screaming to be in a G.I. Joe movie. The guy is a walking G.I. Joe. He'd be great.
He could have been like the current General Hawk or something like that.
He could have been,
or
right?
Maybe he could have been like the dude at the bottom of the screen that we can't. None of the three of us seem to know who the hell he is.
That's David Hasselhoff. That's who that is.
It's David Hasselhoff.
Codename Hoff. That's it. He's Hoff.
Hoff, yes.
Admiral Hoff.
Admiral Hoff. And his line is when Cobra comes in, he's like, "Hey, don't hassle off, Cobra Commander."
That's it. I love it.
All right, so our Baywatch Nights, I really, really wanted to text Eddie about this because sometimes I text Eddie when I watch these Baywatch Nights. So the plot of this episode is Mitch and the gang are hired by a phone sex operator. A phone sex operator whose boss with the phone sex has gone missing and owes her $2,000. And she's quit and she's out of the business. It was really degrading, but she needs her money back. So they do some investigation. Apparently this this PI firm can test DNA because they're taking like blood samples like it's fucking CSI Miami over here. They call on Michael Winslow of Police Academy fame to help them track a phone. And that's all he does. He's in it for 5 minutes. And it's just him and the guy who's not David Hasselhoff, his partner and friend. And he's just like, yeah, I got you a good deal. So, when you were breaking the law, so help me out. And Michael Winslow's all, which I can't do Michael Winslow, but that's what he's doing for 5 minutes. Then he's out of the episode. You never see him or hear from him again. We have, let's see. All right. So There are two favorite moments this week. Okay, the first is the montage. What happened?
You had some technical difficulties there for a second, but we're back.
Are we back? All right. So the montage. There's a montage of Angie Harmon because she has to go undercover as a phone sex operator to.
Angie Harmon's on his show.
Yeah, Angie Harmon is the lead.
I don't think you mentioned her.
Oh, I haven't?
I don't think you have the entire time.
You know what it is? Because Angie Harmon's the only one who makes sense on this show, who I go, yeah, this character belongs in this show. Everyone else in a completely different show. So usually I'm pointing out the WTF things, and Angie Harmon is usually not around for that. So she goes undercover as a phone sex operator, and it's a weird montage of her having phone sex with like sexy jazz guitar in the background. It's cutting to the live performance, and then it's cutting back like, what are you wearing? It's so freaking bizarre. And then the best part of the episode is literally the last 2 minutes of the episode. So the killer is the person who hired them, her jealous husband or boyfriend or whatever. And so he killed her boss for putting her in a position to, do the phone sex. And he's a dirt bike racer, and he grabs his dirt bike and he's off, and they're all chasing him down. And David Hasselhoff swings his car around, gets out, and he says, "Stop!" And this guy just jumps over the car with his dirt bike, no ramp or anything. I don't know how he got but he just did. He jumps it right over the car, over a cliff, and to his fucking death. And David Hasselhoff was just like, no. And that's the end of the episode. That's literally the last shot is David Hasselhoff watching this guy eat shit over the cliff.
Wow, and that kind of brings me back to one of the episodes of G.I. Joe that I watched this week, because somebody went out the window and came back in the window, and I'm not going to forget that one.
That's crazy.
With a basketball, but I don't want to bury the lead with that. Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, so I guess, wow. I don't know if we're still. This might be further hassling the Hoff. Honestly,
No.
Show.
I'm not mocking his show at all. Okay. I am thoroughly entertained by this show. I think it is a hell of a lot of fun. B, I think he is really good on it, and I think he's really fun on it. I say that you notice I never call him out as a WTF thing. The show is what it is. It was a crazy thing that could only exist in the mid-90s. But I think it's a lot of fun. Like, I cannot deny the fact that I'm enjoying this.
Was Mitch Buchanan a Navy SEAL, Marine, anything before he became the greatest lifeguard in the history of lifeguarding?
Not according to this show yet. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned about Mitch Buchanan's past. He's a lifeguard. He's a PI now, and he's divorced.
And
that's it. That's what I know.
Okay. All right. I don't know, because it's like one of those Fast and Furious things where I am a mechanic, but I can shoot bad guys with a machine gun from 100 yards away out of nowhere just because I can. It's like, okay, all right, man. I thought maybe he had some Navy SEAL training or something.
I think the assumption is it's the 90s, so we all had Navy SEAL training or something, I mean, we were all just firing guns and opening up PI spots in the 90s. That's what we did.
That's true. I mean, I do miss those days.
Those were great days. Remember the PI firm we had in high school? Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, it was right next to Deluvio's.
It was, yeah. Yeah, come for the shitty pizza and, get 50% off of us finding out who copied your homework. I don't know. Yeah, whatever nonsense high school students get up to.
All right. So I guess let's get into let's just jump into the G.I. Joe stuff now, by the way. So I guess, it's a thing. I mean, we're all around the same age anyway. We all collected G.I. Joes and stuff like that growing up. We watched the cartoons, endlessly, and felt like there was 1,000 cartoons. But I think there was only a handful of seasons, right? I think the first season was almost like 50 episodes, though.
Yeah, and it was never ending.
Yeah, it just seemed like it never ended. But I think, I mean, I had a bunch of the Joes and stuff. I mean, my favorite was Snake Eyes. Duke was another favorite. General Hawk, Storm Shadow, Firefly. Yes, I'm gonna throw in Beachhead because I guess I dug anyone who kind of looked like a ninja but had a gun because that was mind blowing to me as a kid. I guess I was just like, holy shit, martial arts and you can shoot a gun? You're the greatest ever. Meanwhile, Beachhead knew nothing. about this thing.
That's why Snake Eyes had an Uzi. It made him 10 times more badass.
That's true.
Dude, he had grenades across his chest, an Uzi, and a sword. Come on, man. And he had timber.
Timber, badass.
Yeah, don't forget that. And as far as like Cobra goes, I guess Cobra Commander, Destro was always cool. Like I said, Firefly, Storm Shadow. The regular Vipers I always thought were really cool. Like the one with the shield and like the vest, the black vest and the blue and everything like that.
I also like those like Viper robots. You know what I'm talking about?
The
like
bats.
The
bats. Cobra bat, with the yellow and the black.
The
those were awesome.
battle android trooper, take the hand off. You can put a claw on, take that off. Yep, I had those too.
Mm-hmm.
I had that guy.
Yeah, and the vehicles. I mean, I think that was it. The Dragonfly that was my favorite one. The green, because you got to like actually wind it up, and the thing started. The helicopter actually started spinning.
Yep, with Wild Bill. Yeah, you had that freaking. Yeah, it was awesome, that thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's true. It did come with Wild Bill, and I don't think I remember Wild Bill flying it very much in my wacky G.I. Joe adventures. It was always somebody else.
In mine, Wild Bill never got out of the helicopter because other than that, he's useless. I'm like, dude, you're a cowboy who flies the helicopter. Stay in the helicopter. When we need you, we'll call you. And that was it. He stayed in there. Never came out.
It's actually probably a much better story. I mean, I don't know if I killed him.
It was a 2-seater, and it had the pegs on the side so they could ride on the outside. So, Wild Bill, you stay in there. Don't get out. We'll call you when we need you. That's all.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Tim, so what were some of your favorite Joes and Cobra figures that you had?
Well, what vehicle I like? The Skyhawk. Remember the Skyhawk? The little green what was that? It's a half plane, had the skids. It was small.
Yes.
Had the 2 wings that came off the side.
Yeah, it was a Joe one.
Yeah, I absolutely love that thing. I don't know why. Again, you had the pegs on the side. You could put like 40 guys hanging off the outside of one little Skyhawk. Love that thing.
Havoc. The G.I. Joe Havoc was awesome.
The Havoc was cool. I had Yep. I had all the originals, man. I missed them. I had the Sky Striker, the Dragonfly, the Rattler. The Rattler was fantastic because that was just guns upon guns and missiles and all kinds of cool shit. As far as the figures go, my dude right here, Quick Kick is one of my favorite dudes. And don't forget, when you watch the cartoon, when they were in the snow, he did not put shoes on. That's what was a badass. Quick is barefoot 24/7.
Frostbite.
Frostbite didn't even get to him. There was a character named Frostbite though.
Frostbite hung out with him just in case he got frostbite. Like, I got you. I mean, obviously, Snake Eyes was the baddest. Storm Shadow was the best. To have those two originals, but meant you had status in the G.I. Joe world. If you had this white Storm Shadow, and it had to be complete. Yep. It had to have 2 swords, the dagger. You had to have all that, or it wasn't cool. I had everything. I had all the Snake Eyes. I was ready to go. Flint. I love Flint. I don't know why I was a big Flint guy. I don't know. I just loved them all because I went from Star Wars right into G.I. Joe. I kind of skipped the He-Man Transformers. I did, but I think I mentioned one. I mentioned one time before. I remember we talked about that with Edmund that time. I said the only problem with playing with Transformers is like, all right, transform, and you're there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can continue. It's like, dude, this sucks. I don't want to do this. So yeah, I couldn't get into the Transformers, but G.I. Joe, I was a big fan. Cartoon, comic books, everything was fantastic.
Yeah, Jason. So what were just some of your like favorite the action figures that you had, or maybe some of the vehicles and stuff?
So the vehicles, let's see. I had. Do you guys remember the really big thing that came with a guy called Armadillo? It was like this big tank. I forget what it was called, but it was like literally like a tank place that you could fit like 10 guys in there. I don't remember what it was called, but
those are always the best vehicles. Those are always the best vehicles.
But if you pop the guy in the hole, like the hole that came out, you pop in their foot in. Yeah,
right, exactly. So I had that. I had a lot of like the weird Joes. Like I never had Flint or Duke or anything like that. I had Crazy Legs, the parachute guy. I had.
Did you have Snake Eyes?
I had Storm Shadow, but I did not have Snake Eyes.
Wow, and don't forget version 2, Snake Eyes was the cool one. Because the first one was like really plain. He didn't have the visor. He had like these weird goggles. True. The second one with the visor with the grenades and stuff, that was when he became like the ultimate.
That's when he was awesome. Yeah. I didn't get him. Who else did I have? I had Avalanche, who was just a snow guy. Like I had some just forgettable ones, but I had a lot of Cobra ones. I like the villains. So like one of my Grail action figures was Destro as a kid. Never could get him, but here he is, baby. Yeah, that's right. As an adult, I waste my money on things I couldn't have as a kid. But this is an original Destro.
I think we all do.
Exactly.
I had Destro too. Destro was awesome.
I really wanted the Baroness. I couldn't get her. But I had like Cobra Commander. I had all of the Dreadnoughts. I love the Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they were cool.
I had Zartana, not Zartan, but I think it's like and there were two of them. I think it's his sister and brother, Zartana, and the other one. I had him, but I didn't have Zartan. I had Xmot and Tomax, which I really liked.
They were cool. The Crimson
Twins are awesome. Yeah. I had Dr. Mindbender, which was, I think, probably my favorite of them. I had Colonel Blood, and he was cool because his arm was like he couldn't move. He was the only Joe that had the stationary arm. But it was cool. But it was easy to put the gun in his hand because it didn't move. So, but yes, I had a lot of the weird ones. I had the Nemesis Enforcer, like from the movie.
Guys. They had a 3-pack of those. So once you got one of them, you had all 3. Yeah.
Yes, and the Nemesis Enforcer was the coolest one because he had razors that came out. And then
you couldn't play him in Globulus. He was too big.
He sucked.
He was 40 inches of tail. What are you
you couldn't stand him up? Like, what are you doing with him?
I got rid of him. Him and the chick I got rid of. I used to play with Nemesis Enforcer. That was it. I was like, he's the only guy I'm gonna let loose from that disaster group.
Yeah, I never dug that group, but Nemesis Enforcer. I mean, that's a really badass name. You almost liked him just because of that. And like you said, because of the razor elbows.
Right, exactly. So there were some really cool, like, obscure ones that I had. But that's pretty much my G.I. Joe stuff. That's, that's my sort of, my childhood with it. Oh, and because I grew up with, you guys both know Pete. Pete had a lot of stuff, and I used to hang out with him all the time. He had, like, the moon base. So I didn't have the moon base, but he did, so I got to play with it a lot, and that was awesome. That was a really cool play set.
Well, the one that me and Tim talked about for years, the base that we never got was the flag. Neither one of us apparently got the G.I. Joe flag, because that thing was like $100 or something like that.
It was massive.
It was huge. It would probably be the size of the room that I do the show in. Like, that's how big this fucking thing is. It's completely insane. But I think we both knew a kid that had one, right?
Yes.
So you kind of got to play with it.
And you were jealous because it had the working speaker. You could make announcements. I'm like, dude, come on. But you remember, I saw it on Comic Book Medic. Someone brought one in. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm so jealous right now. I'm so jealous of that goddamn thing. Because back in the day, $100 was, parents like, I'm going to buy you a $100 toy.
Yeah, walk out of here.
Meanwhile, if one popped up right now, you're like, $100? I could probably find a good spot for that in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
$100 now isn't exactly what $100 in the 80s was. $100 in the 80s is like, what, $600? I mean.
Yeah, because like I said, like we talking about, I remember Quick Kick. I remember the day I saw him in the store, and I was like, I got to have this guy. I'm always like, I'm not paying like $4.99. I'm like, $4.99 is nothing. It's nothing. Buy me this toy.
So the spot I remember in Ridgewood, and Tim, I don't know if we probably talked about this at some point. So when I grew up in Ridgewood, right on Myrtle Avenue, there was Danny's Kids. Was right there. That used to be one of the spots to get Joe's. Like, that was the main spot. Eventually, Woolworth across the street, which was there before that. That was a big spot to get Joe's, and that's actually where I got Soundwave from Transformers. And I found him, and I think I skipped my entire way home because I was that happy and excited that I found Soundwave after God knows how long. But also, on Wednesdays, I used to go to like a Catholic school on Wednesday afternoons, right? So I'd get out of public school in the middle of the day.
Oh, yeah, CCD. I did the same thing. Yeah.
CCD. We all did.
So I would go to St. Matthias, and across the street, there was a small comic book store where this dude used to sell them. He used to sell Joe's, and they were out of the box for some reason, which I didn't understand. But that's where you would, like, find ones that and no one else had at that point. Like, if your Snake Eyes broke or something like that, he would have it for some reason. Or he had, like, the OG ones at that time, because maybe they were on to, like, 3rd or 4th generation by that point. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, my mother used to wake us up Sunday mornings to do this flea markets in Hillcrest Avenue, right? Mm-hmm. And so I used to I used to have to get up and help her and do that. So one Sunday I was walking around and I found $20 on the floor, right? Just sitting there, $20. I swooped it up. And there was a table that was selling a whole bunch of loose but good condition G.I. Joes. And they happened to have the entire set of the Dreadnoughts. Like, that's the guy with the vest and Road Pig and all these other guys. And so he let them go for like the $20. And that's actually how I remember that, like, oh wow, I found this $20 and now I have the Dreadnoughts, which were some of my favorite action figures. And I took a tongue lashing for not giving that money to my mother because I spent that before I told her. I was like, no way, I'm just gonna come back and go, look, I found these figures on the floor.
But Tim, there was a place in Greenpoint, because my grandmother used to live in Greenpoint when I was a kid. And it was was that it? But I was like, Tim probably knows the place, and I don't remember where it was. And it was like, when I used to, it was like, yeah, we're gonna go to your grandmother's house. I'm like, holy shit, yes, you're gonna fucking go to this G.I. Joe store. About that.
I'm almost positive it's still there.
Really?
Almost positive. It's one of the last few toy stores like really left. I can't confirm that, but I believe it is still there. But yeah, man, that was a great place discount. I had everything, and right across the street was Woolworth back in the day.
Okay.
So you had a couple spots there you can buy them. And I remember when I grew up in Woodside, I used to go down Roosevelt Avenue, and there was a Woolworth. And my one memory there is walking past with my allowance, and there it was, Sergeant Slaughter on the Triple T tank in that window.
Yes.
And I a good 20 minutes going, this is my whole allowance. It's my whole allowance. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm buying it. And I bought it. Yep. Like you said, you skip home. Then here comes Sergeant Slaughter in the Triple T tank, ready to go.
Sergeant Slaughter was a good action figure, though. I had that.
He was great.
It was.
I remember him sending away and mailing in to get the refrigerator Perry also. He's another one. And I didn't have him, but Pete did. I also, that's how I got it. Which Cobra Commander was it that you had to do that for? Hooded, right?
The hooded one,
because I know I had him, and I fucking absolutely loved him. When he came in and that package arrived, I was like, holy shit, this is like the greatest ever.
Did any of you guys do the mail away to get your own personalized Joe?
Yes. I did not, but I know, Tim, I remember he told me that.
But I was so annoyed because I thought you got a different figure. No, you didn't. You got the same exact figure, just your file card was different.
Yep.
I was like, like when me and my friend opened up our guys, we were like, it's the same exact guy. How do we play with the same exact guy? And I was like, all right, I don't know, but here's my name. Here's the guy I made. It's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I was actually thinking too. There was another Joe that I really liked. Law and Order was another one. He came with the dog. He was like the military police cop.
Oh, right. Yes, I thought his name was K9, but the dog is K9, right?
No, it's Law and Order.
Oh, it's Law and Order. Okay.
Yeah, Law, and then the dog is Order.
He's an MP, or am
I? Yeah, it's an MP, but he has a white helmet with an MP.
The white helmet. Yeah.
I had him. Yeah, I had him.
And another Joe that came out a little bit later that was right up my alley was Shockwave. He was all blue, like blue fatigues, and he had the mask and the hat. He looked like, I think he was like a SWAT team member. He had like an Uzi with a silencer, and I'm like,
I remember him.
This is a guy I'm all about this guy because he looks like a ninja, but he's not really at all. But whatever.
And we can't forget the one that you and I have been talking about all week, Chuckles.
Oh yes, I had Chuckles.
I did too, with his Hawaiian shirt, his leather jacket. It's like
Chuckles, Tunnel Rat.
Tunnel Rat. I had Tunnel Rat.
Tim, didn't we talk about this? Didn't they never make Big Lob?
Never made Big Lob.
They never. He was just a character in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yes, and don't forget too, they came out with Chuckles and Tunnel Rat and Jinx way before the movie.
Yeah.
So you're like, dude, Chuckles. All right, he looks stupid, but I bet he's a badass. Yeah. I bet Tunnel Rat's a badass, and I bet Jinx. And they all kind of sucked when you watched the movie. It was like,
oh yeah. Well, I had Jinx also because she was a ninja, so I had
ninja. Yeah, of course. But like Chuckles, like he doesn't talk, and he's kind of a doof. And Tunnel Rat just talks stupid and crawls around. I was like, oh, I'm very disappointed in these characters.
Oh yeah, but Big Lob makes his move.
The figures are still cool though.
They are.
Yeah, they were. They were cool. Like we talk shit about Chuckles or whatever, but the figure was cool. Whatever.
All of them were because they were so articulated. They were like the most articulated action figure of the time, and so like we went from He-Man, which was just
same build, every single person with a rubber head that they just changed that head.
And even Star Wars, no bending.
Right,
Yep.
exactly.
Bending. Yep.
But the GI Joes give you, joints, and so like there was so much you could do. I remember I'd have wrestling tournaments with the GI Joes because you could actually do like moves with them. Back in when I was a kid and I was big into wrestling, I used to you could have all sorts of like missions. I'd go on crazy missions with them, and it was just fun. And then this was something I found out later is if you had a small screwdriver, you could actually mix and match your GI Joes.
Well, we did that.
That's where, I wish I didn't do that because that's what happened to all of my GI Joes. Is that I just swapped them all because I got bored, and then I was like, I'm not putting them back together.
That's
as long as you got the rubber band waist right and everything like that, you had to make sure that was proper. So
Yeah,
it stayed together properly.
I might have told Ed this. You want to hear a heartbreaking story, Jason? I have a heartbreaking story for you.
Yeah,
I still have a bunch of my GI Joes, a lot of them. Some of them I stupidly gave away, like to my younger relatives. You guys should play with these, not thinking in my head that I'd want these years later as a older nerd.
Of course.
So anyway, I found this box and I was like, holy shit, I rattled it. Like, these are my GI Joes. Like, this is fantastic. I'm gonna open up and have all these. When I opened it, all the little rubber bands over the years must have rotted. All my guys are in pieces.
Oh my gosh!
Did you
the rubber bands popped inside of them? I was like, what the fuck?
Did you
all
keep
of them are in
them?
pieces? I still have them.
You can replace the rubber bands.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to replace the rubber band of like 100 guys, but yeah, at least some of my favorites I might do that. But I was so upset that these rubber bands pop and I have body. I don't even have Joe's anymore. I have body parts.
And as a matter of
all
fact,
over the place.
I have extra rubber bands because I do have I have Destro, but this Destro, his rubber band snapped. My Zartana, her rubber band snapped for the same reason because that was an original, and so I bought you can only buy them in bags of 100. So I have 97 rubber bands I'm not using. So if you have a couple that you want to put together, let me know and I will send you those rubber bands.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's another thing. Sam, what the hell are you doing? Putting my GI Joes back together.
Tim, you're going to be if you do that, you will be lifeline moving forward.
That's
I will. I'll have the head. I have the headset. I'll be able to
That's right.
Yes.
Coming off the Tomahawk, I'll be ready to go.
Oh, that's
I had
great.
the Tomahawk too. Tomahawk was a great vehicle.
Yes. Yes,
The rescue helicopter.
And you remember later on too when Toys R Us had the exclusive to a bunch of the they just pretty much reissued a lot of them. They had kind of Tiger Force. Yep. And meanwhile, it was the storyline was that the Joes captured some Cobra vehicles and then they just spray painted them Tiger Force. Mm-hmm. And that's when they reissued Duke and Flint and all the originals, but they just had Tiger Force uniforms. But when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I don't give a shit. If I can get Duke again and Flint and all these guys, fuck it. Put them whatever. Yep. Then it was Night Force. And then it was there was a whole, every force started coming out eventually. That's when they were officially jumping the shark to insanity. Mm-hmm. To start reissuing the old guys in different paint.
Yep. Then they actually issued Duke jumping a shark, which was weird.
Shark Jumper.
That's right.
Shark Jumper.
Shark Jumper.
And it was Battle Force 2000 was another thing that they had.
That's the last thing I ever bought of a GI Joe because then you discover boobies and girls and stuff like that. But I bought I don't remember the name of the plane, but I know the guy's name was Maverick, the pilot.
Yes, I do. I remember that.
I bought the plane that had the little bubble thing that came off in the back. The little.
Yep.
That might be someplace because I just love that plane. I don't know why I loved it so much. Even after I put all my toys away because like I said, boobies. I left that one on my shelf. I just thought it was a cool looking thing. But then boobies. So boobies destroyed GI Joe.
It's funny. We take the time out for boobies and for everything else. Then eventually we start coming back and wait a second, they can sort of coexist. Eventually down the line,
sort of both. I have both.
We're not playing with the toys actually. Oh man, yeah. Then it was. I'm just trying to. Jason made me think of it when he said he had all these adventures too. Because I remember as a kid, I used to go ahead and I'd be in the bathtub. My father would. So I'd bring in a handful of them. My father would mess around with me. Then I left some on the floor, so he'd probably step on one and get mad. And he'd start throwing them in the tub, like, "Oh, you want to go in there? Go ahead." You forgot these guys too. I'm getting hit with the GI Joes. Like, what the hell are you doing? But I'm being there for hours. I don't want to come out. I'm just playing this whole water adventure thing or whatever. Oh man, the imagination of kids when they get You had wild things wild events.
Crazy stuff.
God,
Yeah, because I turned my bed into the USS Flag since I couldn't buy one. And then my entertainment center was Cobra's headquarters.
So the entertainment center was my base, I guess, of some sort or whatever.
No, I made believe that the Joes had to live in the water because it was just safer, to be far away from this and that, and this way they can move around and all that kind of stuff. They had no land base anymore. They were stationed on the flag, and that was it. They stayed on the flag.
That's right. All right, well, let's get into the thing that actually inspired a lot of this. And we will. So Jason and I, when we decided to do the concept of this episode, to go all G.I. Joe with Snake Eyes coming out, we decided to watch 2 episodes of the show. So Jason his pick was Cobrathon.
Cobrathon. Because if you are not seeing Destro and Cobra Commander in a tuxedo shilling on a telethon, then what's the point? What's the point?
Exactly.
This episode is insane. This is an insane episode. Like,
listen, a lot of these are insane when you really go back and watch them. You think these Hasbro guys are on drugs, but you really go back and watch it.
It's true. When you go back and watch it, you realize that, yes, this was just a 22-minute animated commercial. I mean, it worked. We just spent a half an hour talking about action figures that we had as a kid. It worked. But this is just like, it's just like, hey, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Like because like what's going on? Like I'm gonna give you the synopsis of Cobrathon. Serpentor, who I completely forgot was a thing.
Hated him.
I didn't understand why he was there. Cobra Commander is much better. Cobra Commander is one of my favorite villains of all times. Mm-hmm. But so Dr. Mindbender and the Crimson Twins trying to sell a virus that's going to cripple Interpol to Serpentor for $5 billion. And when Serpentor goes, I can't afford that, they go, it's not really $5 billion, but let's have a telethon and raise $5 billion. Okay?
Yep.
And then you actually see it. This is the moment I picked this episode for. Destro and Cobra Commander in a tux, and Destro sitting on the phone like it's the fucking Jerry Lewis telethon. Like, thank you for calling Cobra. What's your pledge? It's like, what? And he even goes, "This is so humiliating."
And Cobra Commander has nothing to say to him. Cobra Commander doesn't have one line in the episode.
He doesn't. He has no lines in the episode. It's very disheartening. He was just there.
Well, what about Jason? What about Destro right after that when they have cue cards for him and he's telling bad puns and bad jokes and he gets aggravated, pulls out a gun and shoots the fucking thing?
It's the best part. I can't believe I missed that because I was just so focused on Destro and the tux. But yeah, it's like Destro is the only person in this episode who sees how ridiculous this is. Destro's the only one going, but we're a criminal terrorist organization, right? We do crime. Right? We're holding it to. All right, this is stupid.
Yeah,
but wasn't that Destro throughout the entire series?
Oh, he would constantly mock Cobra Commander the whole time. Calling him a buffoon and how all these plans don't work. We were Destro essentially.
Yeah, he was the voice of reason in the worst leadership ever.
Maybe that's why he was my favorite, because he's the audience's way in. Because all of this crazy, fantastical stuff is going on, and Destro's just like, but what?
Yes. Well,
how is this working?
Well, that was why they have Serpentor, because I think it was later in the first season, right? Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a feeling you were going to remember this too. Mindbender created Serpentor off of DNA of a lot of the history's greatest leaders, because they felt that Cobra Commander was inept. They thought he was an idiot eventually, and they decided to make their own genetically perfect leader. And then
Genghis Khan and all these other
some crazy shit.
Yeah,
I actually had Serpentor too. The Serpentor hover thing was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I had the figure. Yeah,
but he's a cool figure. Yeah, cool figure. Bad character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this I command.
And then other notable things in this episode. Lifeline. You guys mentioned Lifeline before. This blew me away. Lifeline is in the water with Piranha, because of course it's the 80s. It's an 80s cartoon. Piranha and quicksand all over the place. Yep. And they go, I think it's a Roadblock, or I forget who's with them, goes to give him a gun to help him up. And
Sci-fi.
There you go. Sci-fi. Yeah. He's like, I can't touch guns. It's like, you're in a Piranha tank, buddy. You're not firing the gun. You're just being lifted up by the gun. It was very weird.
Why would you take Lifeline on this mission, by the way?
I don't
Why
know.
would you take Lifeline anywhere?
But I'm saying Lifeline is there to, like, if you're in a big battle and you need medical attention.
Yeah, right.
This mission was strictly because Duke tells them that they're strictly going to capture something and leave. So you need guys who can fight. Why the fuck would you bring him?
This is the stupidest choice. Like, none of them should be there. It should be not Storm Shadow. It should be Snake Eyes. It should be like the ninjas, right? It's a stealth snatch and grab. You throw the ninjas in there. Why are you throwing the medic and the leader? And come on now, what are they doing?
Well,
and
I think Mainframe should have been there because they were dealing with a computer virus. So maybe he has some logic.
All right, Mainframe. I'll accept Mainframe's existence there.
His figure was awesome too with the giant head thing.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
And Dial Tone is in this episode, right?
Yes, he is.
I had Dial Tone.
That's what I'm talking about. Dial Tone, like the big backpack.
He had the backpack.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Dial Tone.
And even though he was kind of lame, like he was just a communications guy, I really enjoyed playing with him because I would always set up like, you need to call in the strike and the packback has been thrown over there and Dial Tone's got to get there. But so it was nice seeing him. This is all nostalgia porn, by the way.
Of course it is. That's what this episode of Granny Speech basically is.
It's true, yeah. And then they run them on roulette wheels.
Yes, wasn't it very Batman 66?
It was super Batman 66. And then was it Lifeline or Sci-Fi try to they're about to escape? They're like, why are they trying to escape? Like, because
you're trying to kill them?
Yeah, what do you think?
What the fuck do you think?
It was bizarre. It was a bizarre episode, but I think it's like overall, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Did you also notice how, like, when Lifeline in the beginning of the episode, when he falls into the pit of piranhas, and they don't seem overly concerned? Like, Duke and his guys are like, all right, we got to go grab this, and then we'll come back and get him. I mean, the dude's in a fucking pit of piranhas. Like, you might want to get him out.
Yeah.
And then they leave them there because they have to come back and go get them. They leave Sci-Fi and fucking Lifeline there.
And the best part about that is they go, well, we'll have to come back. We got to get this to the mission. Okay, fair enough. But then they see them on the TV, presumably hours later, and they're like, oh, that's what happened to them. It's like, did you forget to go back for them?
Not very important, apparently, to the show team.
I mean, it's like, oh, it's just Lifeline and Sci-Fi. We could, I don't know. It's not like it's an important person.
Yeah, exactly. If it was like Quick Kick or Flint or somebody, they would have fucking been back there in 2 seconds.
Forget about it.
Oh, man. So the other episode that we decided to watch, which was my pick, was The Viper is Coming. Now, This episode is absolutely fucking hilarious. I feel like we referenced this over the years randomly.
Oh, ridiculously, yeah. Because if there's one episode you remember, I think as a GI, it's this one. Because I'm even watching it, you're like, what is this? Who is this guy? Who is this spy foiling all of Cobra's plans? Who is he? And then you find out what he is. You're like, wow. Even as a kid, going to school the next day. Did you guys watch it? Talking? That was the funniest shit ever, like at the end of that episode. So I remember that vividly. So I think this is the one episode, other than the 5-part miniseries. I think this is the one episode that stands out as far as like how good the show was back in the. Does it hold up? No, but back in the day, how great it was for kids.
Yes, and mentioning again, like I also think my father had a thing for GI Joe too, because when he was a kid, he collected the original GI Joe, so
nice.
He would like sit there and fall asleep or something on the couch while I'm watching this shit, and meanwhile I'm like sitting up in front of the TV like this, like watching the damn thing. But he caught on to the Viper, and I shit you not, there were times on the phone where he would tell me that the Viper is coming. I'm not kidding. That went on for years.
That's
it was like
phenomenal.
It was great. But in this episode, though, so in the beginning of the episode, Barbecue, for some reason, has his own like firehouse to himself, and he has the Joes in there, and they're all barbecue. Like for a barbecue. So he's cooking inside the firehouse, grilling. It
has to be a fire hazard,
which is a hazard.
Yeah.
Extreme fire hazard. And then you see Gung Ho and Snake Eyes are dancing to some weird G.I. Joe dance that only happens on this fucking show.
It's so weird.
And the thing that I referenced earlier was Roadblock is playing basketball, okay? Right by a window. He's playing basketball, and he's surrounded by random, like, red shirt G.I. Joes because they just, like, totally nondescript. There's, like, 10 of them surrounding him trying to get the ball for some reason. And he eventually goes ahead and, like, jumps out a fucking window with the basketball, but comes back in to score. The fucking window.
Madness. That's insane. And that's not even the craziest thing that happens in this episode. That's the scary
Alpine
part.
teaching Footloose to climb inside this firehouse. We're still in the opening scene.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even gotten to the Viper yet.
No, not even. And then the phone rings, and then we hear the Viper is coming. 5:45.
Yes.
And then it hangs up, and Barbecue takes this call, and he's like, "What the fuck is this? The Viper?" And then, there are people thinking, and Duke is like, "Oh, yeah, that could be Cobra," and something like that. Like, nah, that's maybe
Viper, snake. Yeah, she's coming.
You think. But I think it's Scarlet that figures out eventually that it might be coordinates. So they go to these coordinates, and they check out the coordinates, and they find out it's in Antarctica. So they go to Antarctica, and then they do find out that there's a Cobra recreation center there. I guess that's where Cobra has a recreation center. Tim, is this all coming back to you now?
Those Cobra guys in their masks and underwear
and no shirts.
And no, it's one of the most homoerotic things I've ever seen in a cartoon. Like they pretty much sent the Joes to Cobra's gay bathhouse.
I don't
Basically.
know what's going on.
Basically,
it's so weird. Like, why does Cobra have this?
There's a Cobra Commander gym. There's a Zartan's amusement thing where it's like a stage and shit like that. And Destro.
Is Destro the cantina?
Yes, Destro was like a mess hall or some shit like that. So the Cobras are there like working out and shit like that, and then it's like Scarlet Barbecue and who the hell else is with them? I don't know if it was Gung Ho or something like that. No, Roadblock. And then the Cobra guys notice that they're there. They start throwing fucking weights at them and start throwing cue balls at them. Like thousands of them are flying at these guys. Nobody gets hit with one ever.
Of course. And I'm gonna say, I think if I were a judge sitting on the legality of this case, Cobra v. G.I. Joe in the destruction of Cobra's homosexual bathhouse, I think Cobra's in the right here. They weren't doing anything wrong here. Just because they are known terrorists doesn't mean you could just come to their house and burn it down without some form of wrongdoing. And these guys were just having some good old-fashioned homoerotic fun. There's nothing wrong with that.
Your Honor, they were playing volleyball and they were playing pool.
Yes.
And they were putting on skits. I see nothing wrong with that. Exactly. I see nothing wrong with that.
I mean,
they're minding their own business, like not they weren't trying to take over the world at the moment.
They weren't. They were just, they were trying to relax and unwind. Being an international terrorist is hard work.
But for the prosecution, I'd say, Your Honor, they were wearing masks but no shirts or pants. Well, that makes it different.
And helmets. They were also wearing helmets.
Does make it different.
So then the Joes take care of that whole situation. They get another call from the Viper again. And then the Viper, the third, there was 3 calls. The third one was the building. Right, when they tell them the second one was West Point.
Yes.
So they say that they're going to go ahead and they're going to go. So the G.I. Joe decides to go to West Point. They're looking around. And why is Major Blood just hanging out in a tank? Scarlet's like, oh shit, it's Major Blood.
I don't know.
Nobody else none of the cadets knows Major Blood was there. And then a whole battle ensues.
And I love that they use this more than once. They go, we have you 10-1, try 50-10. But they make that joke twice where it's like, the cadets are also helping. It's also when the Cobra guy has Lady Scarlet down. And she's like, look behind you. And he's like, I'm not going to fall for that. And then a cadet just tackles him.
Oh, yeah. It's great. So then they get back up from the West Point cadets. And then the third one is, the Viper is coming. And he's, 7th floor or some shit like that. So they go to a building. Yeah. And then they find the fucking Crimson Twins and Destro are there. And they're also trying to figure out who the hell is this Viper? Why is this person spying on us and everything? Another battle ensues.
I love that Destro is just blaming everyone. Destro, the Viper must be. Who does he think it is at first?
He thinks it might be the Tomax and Zaymon or whatever.
Before them, though, because he points to one of them and says, Oh,
Is it
Captain
Zartan?
Blood. No, it's Captain
Major Blood. Major Blood.
He goes, it must be Major Blood. He's the only one to know about all of those.
Yes.
And the Crimson Twins go, that's impossible. He's been with us for the last 24 hours. And Destro goes, then it was you two. And they literally go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Do you know how much money it costs to rebuild what they just destroyed?
Do you know who Destro is? He's a kindergarten teacher.
Yes.
He's like a kindergarten first grade. He is the smartest one in the room, surrounded by a bunch of children and idiots. That's exactly who Destro is.
No, Zartan, put the paint down. Don't eat the paint. Oh, God damn, I'm gonna.
That's exactly who Destro is. If you really think about it, he's a big babysitter who never wins. Never wins, the poor guy.
I have a theory. Tell me what you guys think. My theory has always been that Destro is actually secretly Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. That's why you never see his face, because he's moonlighting. He doesn't want everyone to know that he's in Cobra.
That could be it.
Yeah.
That could be it. Next time, Gadget. Next time.
No, Gadget, don't eat the paint. All right. Oh, I've got to find another cartoon to be the villain of.
It's great.
So the Joes are there, and then they find, like, this old guy shows up with a fucking squeegee, and he's like, I'm the Viper. I come to wipe your windows.
Yes.
$5.45 an hour. And he's like, I'm going to start from the west side of the building, and I'm going to start on the 7th floor. And then they all just start dying laughing, and the episode ends.
Which is the appropriate response.
Absolutely.
Because literally, when they get that last call, you could see they have called every goddamn Joe there is. Like Joe Reserves, like Chuckles is back there, okay? Chuckles, who they had to roust from a 3-day bender, okay? Chuckles is back there because they were so afraid, and it's just this old guy with who says Viper instead of Wiper. If you don't laugh, you have to cry, because officially, you're not a very good military organization if you just were fooled by this old guy who wasn't trying to fool you.
Yes, and then you're also taking his coordinates and his things, and Cobra happens to be at all of them.
It's so weird.
It's great. It's one of my favorite all-time G.I. Joe episodes. I'm going to say the truth. Because of this whole thing, I kind of think I want to go back and start watching random episodes.
Me too, actually.
Tim knows. I think if Tim was picking an episode for this, he totally would have went with Cold Slither.
Yes.
Cold Slither is another episode where they're like the Dreadnoks make a band because Cobra needs money again.
I love those episodes.
And they have a song, and it turns out to be a pop hit called Cold Slither.
It's a great song. I'm sorry to say, it's a great song.
Oh man, I wish we would have done that episode too.
Yes, that would have been definitely the third episode.
By the way, real quick, it's been driving me crazy the entire show who that guy in the bottom corner is.
You found it?
I found it.
Who is it?
Admiral Keel?
He came with the fucking flag, didn't he?
Admiral Keyhole.
Oh, Keyhole. Okay.
Did he come with the flag?
No, who came with the flag? I forget who came with the flag. I don't know, he's hanging out with Shipwreck in this one.
Oh, so he's one of those guys who, like, from Shipwreck's past?
He's got a badass bunch of weapons, though.
Don't ask, don't tell, this is the 80s, but...
I had to do the research, but he has a pretty much badass weaponry. Oh, yeah, USS Flag. He was one of the guys on the USS Flag, I guess.
Okay.
That's why we didn't know who he was, because we never had the flag.
But he has the banner, actually, with him. He just flipped. He has the USS Flag banner with him in the figure.
Oh,
right
wow.
there.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've never even heard of that guy, to be honest. I've heard the name, but...
Wow. It was driving me crazy. I kept looking at him going, who's that fucking guy? Okay, now I know.
All right, so let's move on to the live-action adaptations, because apparently Paramount gained the rights to G.I. Joe and decided, hey, we have a toy property, an IP that we need to make, a film live-action adaptation to, and smart plan. But the first one we got was G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra. This was, 2009, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, directed by Steve Sommers, who was the guy who directed the Mummy franchise and did, like, Van Helsing and shit like that. So we kind of should have had an idea of what the hell we had coming our way.
He's a very experienced director in making shitty movies.
I never, it's funny, I never dug the Mummy movies, but were you against them too, Tim? Did you like them?
I liked them. The first two.
I liked the first two. I liked the first two.
I did. I'm not going to, I can't lie.
Yeah.
I liked the first two.
First two, Brendan Fraser, I think, is incredibly charming in those movies, and I think that second one is fun. I don't know if the second one is good, but I think the first one is a legitimately good movie from start to finish.
Yeah, I went back in my what was the name of that store that I buy all my DVDs from? I don't know, but there was the whole box set for like $10. I was like, dude, that's worth it. I bought that in Jurassic Park, the whole set. I bought them, and I rewatched them. I was like, yeah, I dig the first two, especially the first one. The other one, Akuma Chente with The Rock, was like, I don't want to care about this stuff.
Yeah. No, what's funny is I think the only movie I started watching the Mummy franchise, and the second one goes to The Rock, and at the time I was like all about wrestling and all about The Rock. So
you were anti-Mummy for a while, weren't you? Anti-Mummy?
Yeah, I didn't like it, but I saw it was like The Rock is in it. All right, I'll check it out. I watched that one movie in Scorpion King, and then I was like, I don't really care. It's not for me. So he directed this thing. It's pretty fucking horrible. I mean, considering what we were just talking about with the cartoons, if you're adapting those cartoons, this is the live action thing.
You know what the thing is this has nothing to do with G.I. Joe outside of name only. Like, that's my problem with it. Like, why? Like, let's start. With the first scene. Why is the first scene of this movie Destro's Scottish ancestors? It plays nothing. It never comes back in. When he gets the Destro look, like, I actually didn't remember this movie, so I saw that, and then you actually see that he has that mask, the iron mask, on, like, his desk, and I'm thinking, okay, so at some point he's going to don that mask, and it's going to be, okay, now I take my birthright or whatever. But that is not what happens. That mask gets sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and he gets hijacked by Joseph Gordon Commander, which we'll get to. Rex. He wrecks things. But, like, so I don't understand why Destro's backstory is there. I don't understand why Destro is Scottish. Like,
and small. Why is he so tiny?
Like,
Destro's jacked.
Here's the thing. I don't even mind that because I like Christopher Eccleston. I think Christopher Eccleston could have made an imposing Destro. He didn't, but he could have. Even being a smaller guy, I think I've seen him do work where he appears more imposing than he is. But this just isn't Destro. Like, in any way. He's not big. He's Scottish. He doesn't have his silver head. We don't get that silver head till the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Nope.
And it don't even look good.
No, it looks terrible.
Because it's literally just his head, like, in silver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
It's cheap CGI. And, like, I don't get it. I don't get his plan. His plan is that he made nuclear weapons and then he's going to steal them. And
he gets funded by NATO and shit like that and then steals them back. It's really goofy.
It's very goofy and not goofy.
So they buy more weapons. Yeah, so they buy more weapons off him.
Yes, exactly.
It's like weird.
It's very weird. Like, I think you could have they could have come up with a better plot. And
it should have been the weather dominator.
Or it could have been like Cold Slither.
The mask device.
Look, yes. I'll take fucking 2 hours of Cobra-thon over what we got, okay?
Yeah, this was a rough watch. I watched it 2 days ago. It was pretty rough.
I did too. We watched it at the same time. I texted Ed, like my baffling question of the moment. Ed was like, "Yeah, we're watching it too." It's like, and their need to make everyone connected.
That's, I think, the biggest problem with this movie.
It's like, so spoilers, like for anyone who hasn't seen this god-awful movie, Destro is with the Baroness. Okay, and I actually did like that because I actually thought in the cartoon, one of the coolest things was Destro and the Baroness were a couple because you didn't really see bad guys as couples. You know, they were just focused on their bad guy shit, but like, this is a bad guy couple in a functioning relationship. I always thought that was interesting as a kid because I never seen it. So I like that they kept that here. But the Baroness is Cobra Commander's sister. And Cobra Commander is actually this guy who actually I thought might have been Dr. Mindbender up until they ruined Dr. Mindbender.
They threw him away in 2 seconds.
2 seconds, gone. But the Baroness used to date Duke. And they were going to get married, and Duke is kind of the informal reason that Cobra Commander was killed. Her brother, because she thinks her brother was killed. Like, it's so convoluted, and it's like, so you all know each other? Then why did you have Duke on this mission? Why?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Duke. Yeah, 'cause like you said, Duke dated the Baroness, and then and also he was enlisted in the military with a guy named Rex, who he finds out eventually becomes Cobra Commander. His name is Rex. It's Jordan Jordan.
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah. Who as
Tim
an actor I
loves.
really like.
Who Tim loves also, by the way.
Do you really or no?
No, he really doesn't.
No, it's not that I don't love it. It's just that, remember, for a while, every single who's going to be the next Spider-Man? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Who's going to be Batman? Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay.
Who's going to be She-Ra? Joseph Gordon. He was everything.
Oh, he'd be a great She-Ra.
For like a like a 2-year period. He was everybody, and now where is he? Nowhere.
Oh, that's
Which
not true.
I like him as a I like
he's
him
doing
as
his
an
own
actor
thing.
though.
Yeah,
I like him as
I
an actor, but
I love him in
Looper.
Looper.
Yeah, he's not Cobra Commander.
Great
Though.
Looper.
Yeah, he is. But no, he's a terrible Cobra Commander. This is not Cobra Commander. This is not Cobra Commander. This is not Destro. This is not the Baroness. Like Eddie texted me, what a waste of Dr. Mindbender. And I was like, what a waste of everyone. This is literally a waste of every G.I. Joe character because and the twist too with the Baroness is they were brainwashing her, so she's still a good guy, but she's not. It's like
with the nanomites, because the big
Why?
thing is the nanomites technology that Rex builds, and that pretty much is pretty much the thing that fixes everything. The nanomites make Zartan towards the end of the movie look like the president. The nanomites are brainwashing her. The nanomites take down the fucking tower in fucking Paris.
Yeah,
the nanomites
the
do
Tower.
everything.
Yeah,
the Eiffel Tower. Like, why is
you
all that?
know what the nanomites couldn't do? They couldn't buy tickets and actually fund this piece of garbage movie when it was in the theater.
And they couldn't write it because I think Jason, I agree with you. The biggest problem with this movie is the forced connection between the main characters. The CGI, by the way, in this movie is horrendous.
It's terrible.
Even for its time, it's really, really bad.
It's terrible. It's really, for its time. Like, this looks like a movie that could have been made in like 2003, maybe 2005, but this is a late 2000s movie. This is what 2008 you said?
It was like, no, I think it was 2009.
2009. So it's like, and
It's not that
Retaliation,
old. Yeah.
which we'll get to Retaliation. Retaliation, is only 4 years later, and the effects are so much better.
Well, we'll get to in a minute. One thing that I think that Retaliation did that was smart, but I also think the story is terrible. Writing in this movie is terrible. Like the jokes are really, really bad. Like even for something, because we also I think we all agree that if you're going to make a G.I. Joe movie, you're probably going to make it kid friendly because you want to sell toys, and that's always going to be a thing with it. So you can't go full on R-rated G.I. Joe, which I'm sure our adventures with our action figures will all R-rated, like mass, like blood everywhere. Everyone's dying. Quick Kick is getting revenge. So the humor is just really goofy, and I don't think it works for like anybody. It doesn't work for the adults. It doesn't work for the kids. It's just stupid. And then, what the hell is up with that chase scene with those when Duke and Ripcord get into these two? Which, by the way, Marlon Wayans has no business being in this movie.
No, and I actually
let me say one thing though. Why do they all have code names before they join G.I. Joe? Why is Duke? Who are you? I'm sorry, Channing Tatum. You're not a Duke.
I think they say his name is Duke. Well, and Duke Hauser is his name. Not really his
actual name. It's not Conrad. Because the real Duke is Conrad.
No, they call him Duke Hauser.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay, why is Ripcord then? He's not a jumper. He's not a pilot.
I have no idea. I know Hawk, General Hawk. By the way. I'll say one. Well, the two, they get a couple of characters cool. I actually like Dennis Quaid as General Hawk because I figured then General Hawk would be like an older guy who kind of.
Well, he overacted the shit. In this movie.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
but it worked. It did work for this movie. It worked for this movie. He overacted like crazy though. Him and Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser's 2 minutes were complete overacting bullshit.
Yes,
but it works for this movie though. It didn't stick out.
It worked.
Yeah.
Look, there was one star of this movie. We all know who that was, and that's the reason why I could sit down and I can sit down and see. I'm not going to be as harsh as you guys. I have the nostalgia thing going. Again, I have a problem with Cobra Commander. I have a problem with Destro. I have a problem with all the same things you do. But if it's on, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to watch it for fucking Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I think they're both fantastic. They should have called this
great.
fantastic. That's why we'll get to that movie later too. So go ahead.
And it's funny thing is, I'm watching this movie. I had said, because it's a long movie. All these movies are 2 hours, right?
2 hours.
Yeah, all these movies are 2 hours or close to it, and I didn't feel it with Snake Eyes. I felt it with this one, and they have all of this like Snake Eyes Storm Shadow stuff there, which I think is cool, but doesn't do anything for the story. Like it kind of almost is like, why didn't you guys just make a Storm Shadow movie or like a Snake Eyes Storm Shadow movie? Oh yeah, well because they're doing that now.
Eventually they did.
Yeah, but it's like, but I think it also goes to it like there aren't that many interesting GI Joes that are going to translate well to the screen, because all the interesting GI Joes are garish, like or like Snake Eyes, right? He's a ninja, not garish. But then you got like Shipwreck, who I actually thought was a cool figure. He's gonna look weird in a movie, and although they do mention him in the second one, he's one of the many Joes murdered, which we'll get to. But it's just so. It's just so strange to me how getting back to the Marlon Wayans thing. I'm sorry, before I forget, Ripcord. Why can't Channing Tatum and Ripcord do anything apart? Like the first interaction they have is, I think I want to become a pilot. Let's join the Air Force together. I don't want to join the Air Force. I like being on the ground. Oh, but I need to be in the fight. Yeah, I need to be in the fight. Oh, but I really want to be a pilot. It's like, what the fuck's stopping you? Like, and there are things throughout, like even when they test into the GI Joes, right? When they say, "How did we do?" And they go, "Duke, you got the 99th percentile of everyone who's ever done, and averaged in Ripcord passes," which means Ripcord failed on his own. Yes. But
why is he a Joe?
Because he can't do anything without Channing Tatum can't do anything without him. It makes no sense. Their relationship makes no sense, and his like weird romance with Lady J is so forced. Scarlet. I'm sorry. It's so forced.
Oh yeah, no, he's trying the whole time, and that character, the way they wrote Scarlet was actually weird too. Like it was just weird in general. And by the way, there's a scene where Ripcord parachutes out of space. Literally in space, he parachutes down to fucking Earth.
Yeah, that's true.
I had to rewind it to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. We're talking Superman 4 breathing in space shit now. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Okay, look, there's no defending it, like I said. But nostalgia-wise, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, I will sit down and I will watch this. I was on. I tried to get Jax to watch it before we saw Snake Eyes, and I ended up watching it alone. And I was like, I'm just going to watch it. And again, you're watching it going, potential. But why they do this? Why they do that? Why is Dr. Mindbender called Dr. Mindbender? Why? Like he's thinking about little things. Like, why do we have? There shouldn't be code names until you join GI Joe. That's where you get your code name. That's why it's a fucking code name. You shouldn't be Ripcord if you've never jumped out of a plane before or you're not a pilot or whatever it was. But no, he's Ripcord. Why is he Ripcord?
We'll talk about that later on because there's some code name. Yeah, Tim, I agree. That irked me in other movies that we're going to talk about tonight.
And this movie also had the unfortunateness of being one of Channing Tatum's early movies where he was still terrible because he definitely got better. But in this movie, he was just god awful.
Yeah, he's really bad in this.
Can I share something that was a choice that baffled my mind? And this was, why did they put lips on the Snake Eyes suit? Did you guys notice this?
Yes, they gave him a mouth in this one, which it's very bizarre. It looks weird.
It looks weird. It
doesn't ruin the character though. I think the character looks fine.
The character's fine, but I felt it looked really weird looking at him when you get close-ups because it looks like he's wearing latex. And granted, that's probably just what it is. Yeah. But like the cool thing about Snake Eyes is he almost doesn't look human. And when you just have those lips in latex, it's just weird.
Yeah. I don't understand. And his suit turns white at one point too.
Yes. Oh, that's true. That is true.
I didn't understand that either. Did you notice in the first half an hour of this movie, and I had to clock it because I was taking notes and I clocked it and I turned to Angie. I'm like, just in the first 30 minutes alone, we got references to knowing is half the battle. And by the way, it's serious. It's not, they say it in a serious way.
Yes.
Not as a joke and a wink to the audience.
And I hated it.
Kung Fu Grip gets referenced also. Yes. And Duke is referred to as a real American hero.
Oh, yeah.
In the first 30 minutes of the movie, they hit all three of them.
Just in case you didn't know what you were watching.
for shits and giggles, I don't mind that. If you're being self-aware and joke, that's fine. But that's not the way this. It's not kind of the way they played it. They played it like it was serious, and I think it's a really weird way to start your franchise with the origin of Cobra.
Yes.
Like, why?
This is Destro's movie.
Yes.
This is Destro's movie. He is the first character we see. He is literally the character that has the arc. And since it is named The Rise of Cobra, and everything he does brings upon the rise of Cobra, this is Destro's movie. And yeah, that's a weird way to start your franchise.
Yeah, it should have just been called G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. And or just call it G.I. Joe, whatever, or something. Just G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra just seems... I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit in this movie. And overall, it doesn't feel like a G.I. Joe movie outside of like Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow. And again, I didn't mind a couple of scenes General Hawk was in, but I agree with Tim. Dennis Quaid's overacting for it, but for some reason, I actually was like, it fits in. It's not like he was in a different movie.
And they kill Cover Girl right off the bat.
Yes, they kill Cover Girl in 2 seconds, by the way. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say too, like you said, the choice. I don't know. I kind of disagree though. I think they could have done a shipwreck or to make it again not over the top campy, but for the real GI Joe fans, I would have liked to have seen a shipwreck, even or a gung ho. And what great! I always pictured gung ho coming out in that outfit. And one of the Joes saying, "Dude, you're not wearing that, right? You know, that kind of thing. You're not going to wear that, are you?" Like, dude, what are you talking about? This is, you got to go to something else. Then you kind of update the character a little bit. That's what I want to see. But you got Breaker, you got Heavy Duty. It's like, what?
Yeah, they were like the C-listers.
No, they're D-listers. And I was that was a huge. And like you said, Scarlett too. I thought the actress was a great choice, but you gave her nothing to do.
Yeah,
you gave her kind of like an over serious, bitchy, whatever. But
she's almost like she doesn't like Ripcord just because. Not that he's a very likable guy, but there's nothing that goes on between them that I would like. If he was a bit pushy or a bit like if he kept coming on to her and he wouldn't let up, I'd be like, okay, I get it. But like he's just kind of like, hey, I like you. I think you like me. You think that? Okay, I'll leave you alone now. Like, why do you hate this guy? I mean, is it because you guys let him into the GI Joes who didn't belong there? That's really not his fault.
No, it's not. It's really not.
And I think you're right. Like they just give her this like bitchy persona, and I think this movie doesn't know what to do with female characters, and I think that is shown here, where she gets the bitchy persona and then comes around and really does like him at the end, right? And then the same thing with Baroness, like Baroness, who in the cartoon is this stone cold killer, who is a real villain in this. Like her mind wipe is snapped because Duke is in trouble. Oh, my love Duke, I've got to save Duke. Oh, I'm a woman and I love my man. It's like, guys, could you have a woman character that isn't about man trouble here?
So Jason, let me ask you something though. That's an interesting point. But let's just say they decided to get rid of the stupid nanomites that she's brainwashed, and she was just the thing she was doing when she was bad. I actually thought that was good. Like her version of Baroness, if she wasn't mind wiped, she was shooting at them. She was fucking wrecking like shop. With her and Storm Shadow were like really fucking things up.
I think her and Storm Shadow are the characters are two of the best things about this movie. I actually have notes. I think she has a great entrance in this movie as the Baroness.
Yes.
Where like this was it a helicopter? She's a bunch of people, hovers down, she walks out. I think that her villainy is really good. Like I wouldn't have bought it with her like having this affair, like knowing Duke and being married to Duke. Like, but like they got to get rid of all of that and just make her a villain like she's supposed to be. And I also there was another thing. Oh, when they come into Joe headquarters, when she's in that like drill. That like Krang drill from Ninja Turtles, I thought that was badass. So there are some. I agree with you. If there was enough of this character that could have been really interesting, if they got rid of that like whole bullshit past with Duke and the whole like nanobites thing, just make her a villain and villainous. Because you know what, women can be villainous too.
Yeah.
And why do all the Cobra soldiers have to be brainwashed? There's bad people out there.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let them just be bad men. Why do they have to be fucking nanobite fucking soldier crazy guy. No, there's bad. Even like I said, thank God the second one kind of cleared that up a little bit, where they're just dudes who are like, dude, I want to be in Cobra because I'm a bad guy and I want to kill people, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to be robotic. You know, the Vipers that they made them time to be. So yeah, you see, everything's centered around those stupid nanomites, whatever the hell it's called. So it became like everything. They brainwashed this, they did this, they destroyed this, they fixed this. They do that. It's like, all right, calm down now.
They do everything.
I think overall, I think we could agree that this movie, if you would have simplified, if you take out the weird triangle or whatever you want to call it between Duke, Baroness, and Cobra Commander, Rex, whatever. If you want to take that whole thing out of it and you want to stop with the nanomite shit controlling people, this movie probably plays out a lot better. It's not going to be great still because there's still tons of other problems, but it probably goes a lot smoother if you take it. It gets in its own way.
Keep the nanomites as the
thing when it destroyed the
Cobra,
because
you have to have a Cobra thing.
Of course.
Yeah,
the mass device, all that stuff from the cartoon. You got to have a thing. All right, let the nanomites be the thing.
Yep.
Just like the second one had the thing. You got to have that for Cobra. I get that. But yeah,
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be the reason this one can't remember. The soldiers are this. It's like you have to make it involved in every little aspect of this movie.
That's why Zartan's a master of disguise suddenly is because of fucking technology. Stop it.
Yeah.
And why I wanted Zartan to be. I wanted him to have the accent. I wanted him to have the long hair. I wanted him to have the hood. And instead, you got the mummy. I was like, dude, come on. That's terrible casting.
Doesn't look like Zartan.
And the whistling is annoying, by the way.
Yes.
He's a master of disguise that has to give himself away by whistling.
The same, apparently he's got that same song stuck in his head all the time.
The average fan has to remember at the end of the movie that the president becomes, spoiler alert, because that's why they put the whistling in your mind for 2 hours. Oh, the president's Zartan now. And it continues into the second one, which really pissed me off. I'm like, all right, we know Zartan's the goddamn president. You don't have to keep with the whistling. Stop with the whistling already.
Yeah. I actually, that's when I made the note. It's in the beginning of the second one when he starts whistling again. My note is like, why does Zartan always have "For He's a Jolly Good Fellow" stuck in his head?
I don't know.
Of all songs.
Of all songs. Wouldn't it be funny if it was something like something ridiculous, like something from Les Mis, like a musical, or like a rap song or something that you wouldn't actually imagine? Like,
I feel like
pretty. Touch this.
I feel pretty. Something stupid like that.
That's right.
Like, oh, he feels pretty.
Zartan, you are pretty.
Yeah, so, I was waiting for the hood, the eye makeup, all that kind of. But it's like, all right, you're gonna have this dude who just basically sits around and does nothing.
Yeah,
he whistles and becomes the president. That's about it.
Oh no, he kills CoverGirl.
Oh yeah, he does kill CoverGirl.
He stabs
CoverGirl. So he does something.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Pryce, by the way, wasted in this movie. I think he's much better in the second movie, and we'll get to it. I think he's a really good actor. He's probably the best actor in this movie.
Well, wasted, he was definitely wasted.
Absolutely wasted in this movie. He does nothing as the president.
All right, so at the end of the movie, while we transition, we find out that Duke has got his army because him and his army, he's with G.I. Joe now. They're all like together, and then we find out though at the end of this movie that both Rex, as they refer to him as the commander, and then Destro are locked up. You're led to believe Storm Shadow is dead. And then we get into G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is the clear sequel, but they were trying to go with a soft reboot of the whole franchise because they were like, all right, we're bringing in a Rock as Roadblock, which I think was an excellent choice.
Agreed.
For that. We're going to make him the face of it. And we got to find a way to write out Duke.
Which makes no sense.
And it's funny because I think you were right, though. Like when Channing Tatum did the first one, he was still really bad. And I think at the time this movie came out, he was starting to get big. Like I think 21 Jump Street may have been out at this time, and like Magic Mike and stuff like that. And he started like getting better. And then it was like, oh shit. Like we're almost like, imagine if we had a movie headlined by Channing Tatum and The Rock. You almost got gold here. But then they found a way to like fucking kill them, like undercut themselves again, because he's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
Actually, I actually timed it. He's in the first 22 minutes of the movie.
22 minutes of the movie.
He dies at 22 because when I got to it, I paused it and I was like, I have to see how long he was in this because it was so short. And I think, all right, so I have to, I'm going to say this. I like this movie Retaliation a lot more than I like the last one.
Oh yeah.
I think there's actually a lot of good stuff in here, but I don't know, and I don't know if there was a choice, but I don't know if making this a soft reboot / sequel was the right move. Because what we have is we're replacing our main character with The Rock, so I'm fine with that because The Rock can do anything he wants. But then Ripcord is gone, and they never explain that. And I think it should have been explained because literally they were attached at the hip in the last episode, the last movie. And then not only do we lose Duke, we lose every single fucking G.I. Joe outside of Duke, Lady J, not Duke, I'm sorry, Roadblock, Lady J, Flint,
and Snake Eyes.
Bruce Willis. Oh, and Snake Eyes, yeah.
Snake Eyes. And they gain Jinx because Jinx joins the Joes in this one.
But it's like, so you're not just killing Duke, which... a mistake because he's a beloved character. You're killing every single G.I. Joe, and I think that is when it comes down to it, and I'll get into more as we go through. But that's my big problem with this movie. There are parts where it's real fun, but this movie starts with the horrendous murder of all of our heroes save for 4, and it ends with Cobra Commander flying the Cobra sign on the White House. And tonally, that does not match up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can't slaughter a battalion of real people in the first 20 minutes and then hang your Cobra accoutrements on the White House after you have taken everyone's nuclear weapons. Like these two things, they don't fit.
Yeah, I mean because the whole plan of it is that they're gonna Zartan is still the president, and he goes at it and he wipes out the Joes, complete a mission early, and then he ends up sneak attacking the Joes. Go.
Which I want to point out makes no sense in the first one, because in the first one, they've made it very clear the Joes don't exist.
Why does everyone know who the Joes are in this movie?
And
they're all over.
It. So the big plan is that Zartan as the president, and by the way, Jonathan Pryce, best part of this movie, and The Rock is in it, and I'm saying that, but Jonathan Pryce, amazing as Zartan, a much better Zartan than the Mummy.
Yes.
So his whole plan is to make everyone hate the Joes and kill them, but no one's supposed to know who they are.
They're not supposed to exist.
Right. And then you have that moment when you find out how Roadblock was recruited. Well, when they started recruiting in the Hood, they don't exist. Why are they I thought they recruited from other military things. They came to the Hood to get you, Roadblock. You weren't in the military at all before?
Yeah, that doesn't quite add up. See, you're right. That's the thing. You should have either just rebooted it or made it a sequel, and then somebody who wrote this. Which, by the way, I didn't connect this. You know, the team that wrote Deadpool wrote this.
Really?
Yes, I did not draw that connection until I watched Retaliation, and I saw what it was written by. That's the team that wrote it. I was pretty shocked by that.
That is shocking. Oh, I'm glad they got better.
Completely, yeah, exactly. My first notes in this are just why does everyone know G.I. Joe exists suddenly? And there's the whole plan with Storm Shadow taking out a foreign president and then dressing up as Snake Eyes to do it so he can get locked up with Cobra Commander and Destro to free them, right? And with the help of Firefly, which we'll get into some of the things. I liked Ray Stevenson, weird Firefly. He's cool. I actually think he's really cool in this movie. But there's a weird thing where he breaks out. He does this thing where he flatlines, and then they come to save him, and he breaks out. Why are the swords that they took away from him as Snake Eyes still waiting there for him? And he takes ninja stars out. He throws it at people. Where the fuck was he hiding them in his ass? Literally in his ass.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. I have to admit, I did enjoy, because I had never seen this movie before, I did enjoy the reveal that when they took the Snake Eyes mask off, it was Storm Shadow.
Yes, that was cool.
I did and as soon as he was there, I was like, oh, he's here to bust out Cobra Commander. I like that. That's a very G.I. Joe. All right, yeah, I'm going to go in. That's fine. But I agree with you. Like the stars were stupid. The
And
fact
the
that
swords were there.
the
Why?
swords, like it's like, why are you leaving these swords there, William Goggins? Like,
Yes, you know that these are. He literally talks it up how he has Cobra Commander and Destro and now fucking Storm Shadow like locked up. He knows how like they have this underground like weird super secret thing like the Raft.
Right.
I guess you want to say even more hardcore than the Raft in the MCU. And you leave swords laying around just in case they break out. You know they got some swords.
Yeah, you never know.
and again, no trial. Like if I were a judge here in Cobra v GI Joe, I'd be like, well, you know, you didn't realize that it was Storm Shadow until after you took the Snake Eyes mask off in the prison, which means you didn't give him his due process. I think we need Law and Order in here.
Well, I don't know.
Literally.
Maybe they did the
and the dog.
maybe they did the Mission Impossible thing where my favorite line was, "Oh, my lawyers are gonna have a field day." I think we'll leave the lawyers out of this one. Maybe because if you're an elite terrorist, they're like, nope, we're skipping that and we're gonna go straight to jail. And
automatically guilty.
Yeah. Hey.
I mean, I'm not even mad about it. It's just I just thought it was ridiculous. You know.
No, it's ridiculous though too. Why did they choose to leave Destro?
I was just about
Cobra
to say
Commander
that.
literally tells him, "Oh, you're out of the band." No reason why.
No reason.
You're just out.
And it's like, and this is a big ding for this movie because out of the three of these movies, I think this one feels the most GI Joe to me.
Yes, absolutely, it does by far. By far.
I think it all has to do with Cobra Commander. I think once Cobra Commander's there, we are in a fucking GI Joe movie. That character knows exactly what movies he's in. He and I think my whole problem is tonally it's different than the GI Joe stuff. But I didn't understand why Destro isn't there. Like Destro, to me, Destro and the Baroness are as important to this franchise as Cobra Commander. Yep. The Baroness isn't there because she's a good guy now, and Duke is dead, so she's locked up. She's got no man to pine over, and Destro is just out of the band inexplicably. Like, but
says you're
why?
out. No explanation.
It made no sense.
So yeah, well, when he puts on that breathing device, Cobra Commander, and you see that it's recasted, and whoever it is got a deeper voice, he's bigger. Like when he suits up and they show him in the whole thing, I'm like, that's fucking Cobra Commander.
It looks good. I actually
like now I'm in. Yeah, you're right. Like now you're in a GI Joe movie.
Yep. And that's the thing. He looks the part. Like he looks like Cobra. Like that is a comics accurate Cobra Commander, except it's a darker blue. That's it.
That's fine. I don't care. I'm good with that.
Same here. I thought it looked great.
And it has the wacky device.
The Zeus thing, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Like this was a good plot for Cobra. This was a good Cobra plan.
Absolutely. No, yeah, their whole thing with Cobra in this is fine. The stuff with G.I. Joe, besides the fact that there are 4 people, and we'll get to one of the things I wanted to mention about it, because I already know Tim's going to go off on this too, because we're in agreement on a certain actor that was in this movie. That high-flying battle, by the way, because there's the main plot, and then Snake Eyes and Jinx and Storm Shadow kind of have their own thing after this point. They have this crazy high-flying battle with ninjas on the side of a mountain. That shit was crazy, and it was really fucking cool at the same. That was really cool.
Well, what's great too, like you said, if you don't know Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes' background, Snake Eyes does not ever want to fight him. He fights him because he has to fight him, not because he wants to fight him. Because Storm Shadow is trying. The dude, stop trying to kill me. First of all, you can't kill me because I'm Snake Eyes. Second of all, I don't want to hurt you. You're like my brother. I grew. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't know from the comic. Well, the one thing they did get right from the comics was Zartan did kill their master.
Yes.
That's a comic thing.
That's the hard comics.
Because I don't think that was one of the things I thought was really stupid in this movie and didn't work.
No, see, that's the reason he joined Cobra, and is because he wanted to kill Snake Eyes because he thought Snake Eyes killed their master. Snake Eyes thought Storm Shadow killed their master, and they went on their separate paths. But if you read the comics, it's revealed much later on that Zartan was actually the one who killed him.
That's why Storm Shadow joins the Joes.
With a bow and arrow, and then Storm Shadow joins the Joes later on, which I thought was fantastic. I was hoping he was going to get the gray camo ninja outfit at the end of this movie.
I have that pop behind me. That's the Storm Shadow I bought.
Nice.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. My major problem with this, because it's one of my favorite characters, is Flint is such a dick.
Yes, that was one of the two things I wanted to bring out to your attention. Flint is
terrible.
A pussy. He's a pussy in this movie. He gets stomped on, walked all over by everybody. The only thing I thought they got right, two things they got right with Flint, was the 2 seconds at the end when he has the beret on, by the way. I was like, oh, that's okay, now he looks like Flint.
Yeah.
And they had that weird, there's that weird scene with him and Lady J, because it was always assumed Flint and Lady J were kind of like a thing, right? Like in the cartoon and stuff like that. But he's like creeping on her while he's looking through some TV, watching her get undressed. I'm like, that's a little unnecessary. I mean, it's Adriana Palicki. Like, I get it, but
I get it.
Yeah, well, I think we all understand. But it just, in the context of this movie, it was just very bizarre. It looked like it was completely out of fucking left field.
Here's the thing, I get it, but if Adriana
in this movie though,
but if Adriana Palicki and I were fighting in a GI Joe scenario, I wouldn't be creeping on her because I find her attractive. I'd still find her attractive, but I'd be leaving her the fuck alone because we got bigger fish to fry.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just the way he's doing it seems really weird.
Flint was a major problem for me in this, because he was just a dick at every turn. Yes. Like I said, he was a pussy. He was just. It's like, all right, we're getting Flint and Lady J. That's awesome. No, it's like he was terrible. And Jason, like you said, what's his name? Jeff Price? That's his name?
Jeffrey Price, yeah. Jonathan Price. Jonathan Price.
The scene with all the world leaders, he is phenomenal. It's that whole scene. And even then the Cobra Commander walks, you're like, dude, this is a fucking great scene. Yeah. This is a G.I. Joe scene right here. And that part was fantastic.
That's the thing, is that part is when it becomes a G.I. Joe movie, because you have Zartan as Jonathan Price, who I think, and watching him play Zartan and play the president, you can tell this guy can act. Like I love this actor. And when he's like, okay, well, unless you do what I say, I'm going to fire the nukes. Firing the nukes. All right, then. And like just the way he does it, and then he pulls out his phone and he's playing Angry Birds while they're all deciding if they're going to retaliate, which I thought was great. Like, and then Cobra Commander walks in. He's like, "I want." He doesn't talk like that. That's the cartoon. But he's
his voice in this was cool though.
His voice was cool. Yeah, it's not cartoon accurate, but it was cool. He's like, I want your allegiance," and it's like, of course, yes. And then that's when you see the Cobra signs on the White House. Like, that's the G.I. Joe movie I want.
Yeah. Which remember the viral campaign before this movie came out. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
They had the Join Cobra commercials.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, Cobra's the new elite force. Forget G.I. Joe. They're the bad guys now. Please join Cobra. And they had the outside the White House, and they had places where you could sign up.
That's awesome.
That was fantastic too. The viral campaign. That was a good job with that.
So the other thing I wanted to mention in this, right, is they have a lot of scenes where we actually get like vehicles from the fucking toys in the cartoons.
Yes.
There's like the one that Roadblock has at the end. I'm pretty sure that looks like one of the ones that were there. There's a hiss. There's a Cobra hiss at one point in there. And we forgot to mention, in the first movie, we get one. There's a Night Raven that Ripcord flies in the first movie. That's the only vehicle that we get. But in Retaliation, I think there's like 5 or 6 things that looks like, holy shit, that looks like one of the fucking toys that I had. So it just adds to the whole overall, this is a fucking G.I. Joe movie. Like I think it's like John Chu, who made this thing, and I guess the writers of it understood, like, they got G.I. Joe much more than Stephen Sommers did. Because also read a quote, Stephen Sommers, who directed Rise of Cobra, he said his whole underwater battle scene was a nod to Moonraker, because he felt like G.I. Joe was just kind of like James Bond. And I'm like, right then and there, you don't get the job.
Don't understand G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you quite don't. But this time around, though, in Retaliation, this is a fucking G.I. Joe movie. With its flaws, it's still there.
Yeah, I think they didn't use the vehicles only because I remember seeing Top Gun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's a Sky Striker.
Yeah.
They're flying Sky Strikers. And then Cobra had the A-10 Warthog, which was the Rattler. Yeah. And the Dragonfly was the I forgot the name of the helicopter. I think that's the only reason they used the real vehicles, because they were actual real life warships that we use to kill people in this country. They're like, we can't use these real. But like you said, when you pull out a hiss, if they would have made the Sky Strikers.
Yeah, there is one.
Start pulling out the vehicles that really don't exist, that are a little ridiculous. Like if they would have had a Skyhawk or stuff like that, then you start getting into real G.I. Joe stuff. I just don't think they wanted to throw in an F-14 Tomcat I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a Sky Striker, that kind of thing. But yeah, you start throwing in hisses and stuff like that. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I really think this movie got me to feel like I'm in G.I. Joe now. And by the way, that motorcycle that Firefly has when he breaks out, and
That was awesome.
That thing is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And his whole little like nano exploding Firefly things that come in and out throughout the whole movie, those are really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think that this movie could have been a great G.I. Joe movie if it just said, you know what, we're going to be campy without being silly.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Because that last scene we talked about with Jonathan Pryce's R10 and Cobra Commander and the flags on the fucking the White House, that's campy, but it's not silly. And I think that's what an adaptation of G.I. Joe needs to be. Because that show, we watched 2 episodes, right? And that show is campy as hell. It's crazy. It's off the wall. And when people want to watch these movies, they want that nostalgia feel. And if you give people serious military dramas, that's not G.I. Joe.
No.
You need that campiness. And I think this movie at least tries it. The first one didn't.
Yeah.
But this movie at least tries to give us some campiness. And I think where it fails is it doesn't. It's only partial. It's only campy when Cobra's around, but we're still taking the Joes seriously, and I think that's a mistake. And I also want to point out another mistake: Bruce Willis in this movie.
That's what I wanted to get to now because I know Tim loves old man Bruce Willis is pretty rough.
Did you guys see at 1 hour and 44 where Bruce Willis is like, "Hey Brenda, sorry, when is lunch? Oh, I'm still rolling," because he's so fucking checked out. He keeps checking his watch. Like, all right, I'm making that up, but he's so. I have never seen Bruce Willis this checked out in anything.
Oh well, you should watch the last Die Hard movie. That's the only thing I've ever seen him worse than in this.
Wow, they just call it Die Hard. I got another paycheck. That's what they just call that movie.
Yes.
Die Hard, alimony.
That was the one. I remember the critics. That was the one thing about this movie. People hate G.I. Joe anyway, but they were like, dude, Bruce Willis is just so not there. Like, he's there, but he's not there.
He's not.
I was like, I agreed 100%. He was just not into this whole thing. And he is Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the reason they're called G.I. Joe.
And there is some fun, campy scenes that just didn't work because it was him. Like, when he's showing them the house and everything, like, oh, yeah, lift this up, there are guns. Lift this up, there are guns. Like, that actually could have been a really fun and even funny scene, but it was played so serious and he was so checked out. It's like, guys, do you know what you're filming here? This is funny. No one has this many. You don't need this many guns in your house, even if you are the true first American hero.
That was an eye roll. That was an eye roll to me in 2 seconds. I actually forgot about that part of it. I remembered most of this movie, but when I watched that this afternoon, I saw that shit. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
It's just so it doesn't work, and it could work, but it doesn't.
No, it's pretty brutal, and I don't know. There was just no need. You could have went to somebody else. I mean, by the way, there's no mention of General Hawk. There's no mention of all the Joes could have been wiped out. They all didn't go to that one thing. It reminded me of like in The Dark Knight Rises when the entire GCPD goes underground. Like, really? So all the Joes went on this one mission and they all got wiped out? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real. At the end, they should have at least acknowledged, oh, the Joes we found, this, or they're coming up, or something should have happened where they acknowledge the existence. You can't kill all the. You can't have 4 GI Joes beat Cobra. No. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Well, I don't care who it is.
Even if you want to do that, the way to fix this movie for me is you have all of the GI Joes picked up and put in prison. Right? You don't have to kill them. You just need them out of the way. Yeah. Because I think killing them is a bit too far. No one dies on the G.I. Joe show. No. It's a cartoon to sell, toys. Like, and no one should. I'm not saying no one should die in these movies, but we shouldn't kill all of our heroes. Like, all right, you get him out of the way. You put him in prison. I'm Jonathan Pryce, Artan. I have made up something. You've done this. I'm putting you all in prison. That's where you are. We just have to find these 4 Joes, and the 4 Joes break everyone else out and take everyone down. That, I think, is a better way to do it. But killing all of the G.I. Joes in the first 20 minutes, it sets a tone that just is not G.I. Joe and doesn't follow through the rest of this movie. It's just so inconsistent in that way. And I keep coming back to it. I hate that they kill all the Joes, including Shipwreck, because they actually do mention him by name.
Yeah, they do. They go out of their way to do that too. But yeah, I think overall though, like the Rock's roadblock was perfect, and especially by the way when he's got the roadblock big gun at the end and he's firing it. I turned to like Angie today and I was like, look, he's got the gun from the toy. Look at that shit, like it's so cool. Lady J was fine. Adriana Palicki's Lady J was cool. Flint is fucking terrible. I was glad to see they brought like Snake Eyes. They fixed his stupid mouth thing, and Ray Park is back, which I know Tim also has a soft spot for Ray Park. He was Darth Maul. No need for any kind of talking or anything like that. He's under the suit. He does fucking flips and shit. That's great. The actress who played Elektra in the Daredevil series was Jinx, which I didn't. Okay. Yeah, that I just recognized her today. I liked her. Forgot that she was in it. Yeah. So I think overall, everyone except for Bruce Willis and Flint were good.
But we are failing to mention the best casting in this movie, which is the RZA as the blind
master.
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't even recognize him. It was when I saw at the end, and the RZA's blind master. I was like,
oh, I knew him.
You didn't recognize him with his speech impediment. I always recognize him as that talk.
Because you know what it was. I just wasn't expecting to see him there. That's what it is. So I just didn't even think like that RZA was going to be there.
He campaigned to be blind master in that movie.
Yes,
he campaigned to do it.
Yeah.
So he's like, wait a minute, I can be a martial arts master in G.I. Joe? Put them two together. And that's RZA's, his dream job.
Fantastic. And he is wonderful. He is probably the second best casting to Jonathan Pryce.
You know who should have been Flint? John Hamm or someone like that. Yeah. Not some tiny little dirtbag who's just, you should have been like a guy with a jaw. And give me somebody with a jaw. That was Flint. Flint was a badass. This dude was just like come on, give me a break. That really hurt me, the movie. But again, both these movies, what's the best part? Snake Eyes is phenomenal. Storm Shadow is great.
Storm Shadow, yeah.
That's the only story that stuck to G.I. Joe lore. Because like I said, they were friends, they were enemies, because they each thought they killed the master. Turns out it was Zartan. Storm Shadow turns good. Of course, he'll probably turn bad again. He's like the Big Show or wrestling. He just keeps turning heel and face, but it doesn't matter because it goes. It's just they're the best. They're the best guys. But you know what? I'll sit down and watch the first one. I know you guys. It is terrible. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Well, this is good. This is good." No. It's fucking terrible. But I will sit there and watch it. Yeah, I'll sit there and watch it for Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I think that's worth watching the movie. And the second one too.
Yeah.
I think for me, like when I walk into G.I. Joe, there are certain things I want, and the second one gives it to me at some point, and the first one doesn't. And I think that's me. Like I agree with you. Like there are parts in the first one where it can be fun. It's a watchable movie. I don't hate it. I'm not like crapping all over it, but it's just like I don't think it's a particularly good movie, and I don't think it's a particularly good G.I. Joe movie. And so that's my issue with it. I think the second one, I don't think it's a particularly good movie, but I think it is a good G.I. Joe movie. Like, if you need that kind of nostalgic fix, this isn't going to give it to you 100%, but it's going to give it to you the most out of any of these three movies, the G.I. Joe movies that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get into as we transition. So, yeah,
I like... One more thing, like I said, with the costumes, they won't work in the movies, but I still think you got to have that... There should have been a scene where, like I said, they shouldn't have killed all these G.I. Joes, or maybe kill off the red shirt guys, like from Star Trek. You kill off the C level guys, and you should have had a scene where, like, we recruited from the Navy, and in walks fucking Shipwreck wearing that outfit, even with the bird, and they're like, dude, you got to put something else on, and they give him like a cool, somewhat looking Shipwreck, but a cool updated version. Same thing with Gung Ho. Same thing with Dusty. I see Dusty over there. It's like, dude, what are you wearing? It's 95 degrees in here. What are you wearing? And they should have made at least references to the ridiculousness of some of these costumes.
That's the thing, is you make it campy without being
silly, yeah, like you said.
Without being silly, yeah. Because you're right. You do that, like Shipwreck comes in, they're like, all right, that might fly in the Navy, but you need a more subdued thing. And then he has like a Shipwreck type costume, but it's a bit more realistic, like the Cobra Commander costume. Mm-hmm. I think that works because you acknowledge the fact that this is campy. You take the silliness out of it. But the thing is, it's just, they're not doing it enough. They're not doing it all in the first one. They're not doing it enough in the second one. But I think that's the way to go for a movie like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the thing we learned from the first two movies before we get to the new one I think they both have different elements of it. I think Retaliation's a much better movie than Rise of Cobra.
Agreed.
Not saying that it's great, and it's more of a G.I. Joe movie. So if I want the nostalgia feel, I go to Retaliation. And I haven't watched Retaliation that much, which is just kind of weird because I just don't think I ever see it on anywhere. But I actually enjoyed Retaliation. Outside of some goofy things, I was like, holy shit, I'm watching a live action G.I. Joe movie. Fucking awesome. Like, I can get behind it. It's not perfect. It could have had some better writing, which I'm still kind of weirded out by the fact that it's written by the guys who wrote Deadpool. And I always feel like if you gave them another shot to write the movie like a couple of years later, maybe, we would have got something a little bit better and a little bit different. But overall, this is the most G.I. Joe movie out of these two first so far, because I'm going to save my comments for the next one coming over.
Not only do I agree, I'll tell you this before we transition over, is I had to look for Retaliation because I didn't want to pay for it. I wound up paying for it. I was looking for it for free, but I didn't want to watch it with commercials. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The still on Prime is just Cobra Commander.
Oh wow!
From the movie, and like it's a scene that he's doing something, but that still, he looked so good. I went, I kind of can't wait to watch this movie just to see that. So, sort of reinforcing what you just said, I think if you are in the mood for a G.I. Joe movie, you could do worse things. Like first hour maybe isn't so G.I. Joe, but that last hour really is. So I think if you can stick through that first hour, once you get to that second hour, it hits all the right spots.
Yeah, and I think that it's funny because I noticed too that I saw it on like iTunes or something like that because I was trying to find because I do own this movie and I own Rise of Cobra as well. I noticed they changed the picture and now Channing Tatum is next to The Rock in it suddenly. So they're almost like, oh yeah, let's he's in this movie, right? Yeah, co-star, sure, okay. But Adriana Palicki's there; she's a name too, and Cobra Commander is also featured on it. So yeah, I was really really excited to watch this movie. When we knew we were doing these other two. So. All right, so now we're going to get into the new one, Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. And before we begin, I will put it up on the bottom. We are talking spoilers. Okay, I know the movie hasn't been out a week yet at this point, but if you haven't watched it and you don't want to be spoiled, come check us out another time because we're going to talk completely open about it. Come back and catch us another time. Or if you don't mind getting spoiled, hang around. And hang out with us then because we're going to pretty much bust this thing wide open. And Jason jumped away. Oh, okay, he's stepping away for a minute. I guess, Tim, give us your overall thoughts before we get into details. What were your overall thoughts on Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins? As someone who's versed into Tim, I know you're versed into the comics. You read the comics. You watched the shows. We just went over the movies. That's why we wanted to do that to lead up into this. Overall thoughts.
Well, coming in from the trailers, I knew right away they changed the origin a little bit, which, again, I have no problem with them doing that sometimes. But now it's kind of like a reboot, I guess, because in the first one, they knew each other when they were kids. Like, originally, they were supposed to know each other when they were kids.
Total reboot.
Snake Eyes talking. Snake Eyes never talked. Actually, Snake Eyes got blown up in Vietnam. Well, back then it was Vietnam. I don't remember if that's the reason he lost his voice. So I don't remember that part. That's the reason he wears the mask. That was the reason he wore in the comic book. He wore the mask because he got caught in that explosion. But I don't remember if he lost his voice or not, or he took the vow of silence like they said in the first one.
See, I've seen two things. I've seen vow of silence, and I've also seen that his vocal cords got damaged in battle.
Yeah, I think that was the big Vietnam one. I remember the cover of the comic book and everything when they did the flashback. Yeah, there was like a 5 comic arc that had just the Storm Shadow Snake Eyes thing where they finally realized all that shit, which was probably my favorite run of the books. But yeah, going into this movie, I knew they changed that, so I was like, okay, Snake Eyes talking, okay, no problem. I went with that. But I mean, I have to say honestly, I was bored through the first hour and change of this movie. It had some cool moments, but I was really kind of bored with it. The ending, I thought the last 30 minutes were fantastic, the battling and stuff, but again, if you're going to change the lore of these characters, you got to make it worthwhile. To me, it wasn't worthwhile. But yeah, I had a kid explaining to Jax too, who doesn't know any of these characters, what was going on, and even he was kind of like getting a little antsy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the best way I can describe it. I was kind of bored with it, without getting into detail yet. But the last 40 minutes, fantastic. Not fantastic, but good battles and stuff. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. That's how I'm going to put it. I wasn't impressed.
Okay, and just quickly before we get to Jason, so out of the 3 G.I. Joe movies that we talked about tonight, how would you rank them quickly?
Retaliation, Snake Eyes, Rise of Cobra.
Okay, that's my exact rankings as well.
Yeah, because Rise of Cobra is just too goddamn corny.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes at least has some pretty badass action. And yeah, Retaliation, like we've been talking about, is the actual best G.I. Joe movie out there, except for maybe G.I. Joe the movie.
Yes.
Cartoons don't count.
Yeah, but I said, for me, it was a little too slow, a little too weird. The double life that Snake Eyes was trying to do kind of threw me off. Like he's trying to help. I don't know. It was kind of weird for me. His whole life's been about revenge. That's not Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes has never been about that. Never in a million years. Even when he thought Storm Shadow killed the Master in the comic book run, he never wanted to kill him. He wanted to rescue him. He wanted to bring him back to the light. He wanted to rescue him from Cobra. He was never about revenge and murder like this Snake Eyes was. So I was thrown off by that a little bit.
Jason, so just overall thoughts on Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins before we get into details, and then give us your quick rankings of the 3.
Okay, so I actually did like this for the most part. I thought I liked the character of Snake Eyes. I liked the guy who got to play him. I liked
him too. I did like him.
I thought he was good. I liked the guy that got to play Storm Shadow. I actually really liked him.
I liked him too.
I think that I thought it was interesting what they were doing with the characters, and I think this movie actually has characters, and whereas the other two doesn't. I mean, they have caricatures because it's a movie based on a cartoon, but I think this is a movie trying to make real dramatic characters out of these characters. I keep saying the word characters. And I think to a point it does succeed. I did like a lot about this movie. It loses me at a certain point, which I'll get into, and Ed, we've talked about this. And that's when it really loses me. I would say that to put them in the ranking, I would say this. I have to have 2 separate rankings. The first is the best G.I. Joe movie to worst. G.I. Joe movie, Retaliation. Snake Eyes, Rise of Cobra. If we're talking movies that I thought were good movies outside of the G.I. Joe franchise, I actually think Snake Eyes is a better movie than Retaliation. I think Retaliation is a lot more to do with G.I. Joe, and I think it's a lot more fun. But Snake Eyes is trying to do a lot of character stuff and really trying to explore who Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and all of these characters are as characters and give them things to do. And I really appreciated that. And though this didn't feel like a G.I. Joe movie to me, I did like what they were doing. Also, I do love the Baroness in this movie. I think this movie nails the Baroness for me, where she is I'm evil. That's what I do. I am Cobra. I ain't getting man crazy. I will help you if I can, and it suits me until I leave. And so as the Baroness is literally one of my favorite characters in the G.I. Joe universe, I really did enjoy that. So I actually probably like this movie better than you two.
Okay. So yeah, I think for me, I don't know. I was debating on watching this again before we did the show tonight because Jason and I went to see it on Sunday night. And
theater again. Oh, to be in the theater again.
It was like old times. I mean, Tim, I wish you could have joined us. Though we went to the Midway. It was meet up in front and everything. Walk in. We did the whole thing again. So I think as a movie, it's fine. I think it had when Tim said he was kind of bored with the first hour or so, whatever the heck it was. I think I agree with you, Jason, that it tries to do a lot of character study and things like that and gives these guys depth. And Tim, 100%. When I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, we know we're not going to get anything from the source material, but just accept it that they're giving him a because again, you would have had a mute character the entire movie, and that would have been, that may have been a hard sell for people. Plus, you went out and got like a rising up and coming star to play Snake Eyes this time around, so you knew they were going to give him face time. He wasn't going to have the mask on. You kind of got that feeling. But I was disappointed by this movie. Maybe my expectations were high. Because I was like, all right, maybe they're gonna reboot G.I. Joe again. They're gonna go all in. It's gonna be a little bit different, but that's okay. But they're gonna start over, and we're gonna get it right this time. And there is a scene about an hour into the movie where they started to lose me. Like, I think the movie goes completely off the rails at that point. And now that we can let's get into like some specifics here. The scene that I'm talking about is the scene with the snakes.
Yeah, me too.
With the giant snakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell just happened right now? What is going on here?
Giant anacondas, they started to say. That wasn't anaconda. That was Nagini from Harry Potter.
And that's what we were saying.
Yes. Angie and I were going back and forth with that joke about I was doing Snape as a G.I. Joe. I taught your father, Snake Eyes.
Yeah, the whole magical crystal thing threw me completely. I'm like, this isn't G.I. Joe.
No, it's
magical. I mean, I understand when the ninjas start pulling out some kind of magic, but the whole thing, the power of the sun, and the dudes kill. I was like, I don't like this at all.
And here's the thing: I don't actually mind. I think it could be G.I. Joe. I mean, look, G.I. Joe is a lot of crazy shit in the cartoon, right? But my problem with the serpents and the crystal is that up until that moment we were operating in a world that was much like our own without magic because it was never brought up, right? Like what I had to accept was some people are so good at kung fu that or martial arts, I'm sorry, that kung fu I don't know what it is, but martial arts that they can single-handedly take down 20 armed men. Now, that's bullshit. But you know what? You've set that up as the reality of your world. I'm in. Okay, that's fine. But then an hour in, and you're giving me giant mind-reading anacondas, because they're mind-reading anacondas.
Yeah.
And Firestone, it's like, there needed to be something. The Baroness needed to say, yes, I'm on the hunt for rare mystical items for Cobra. Give me just something like that. Give me some indication that there is magic and mysticism and giant fucking snakes in this world, and I'm with you. But you don't until I see a giant psychic snake, and then it doesn't work because. And to get to the trials, by the way, why are there 3 trials?
Trial 1. Second trial makes no sense.
Trial 1 is you have to be polite, which, all right, I like that trial. I think that's the one that works. Trial 2, you just have to know what's going to fuck you up in Trial 3. And Trial 3 is the, psychic anaconda, which, why not just start with Trial 3? Why put them through the rest? Either you're worthy or you're not.
Psychic anaconda, next t-shirt.
That's right next to White Vision.
Next, that's the next concert t-shirt, Psychic Anaconda.
We actually we should start making t-shirts for this show.
Also, another thing that really pisses me off in this movie, and the more I thought about it, Snake Eyes is a fucking douchebag in this movie. Yeah, like he's a complete asshole throughout the entire movie. That should not be your hero.
His whole movie's about revenge, and that's just not the character. I understand you have to have an arc and have him grow and have him do this, but that's not Snake Eyes. He's never, ever, 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 ever been about revenge. Even Storm Shadow, he never wanted to kill the guy.
Yeah,
never, ever. And even at Storm Shadow's worst, Snake Eyes is always like, "Dude, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna bring you back. You're gonna come back." I mean, look at the set. The whole Retaliation was the whole movie was him rescuing Storm Shadow after he just tried to kill him.
Yeah,
I actually think
that bugged me.
This movie works better if you just say the character of Snake Eyes is actually Storm Shadow and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because
in a way,
because like I was watching it and I hadn't seen G.I. Joe in a long time and I had gotten confused Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow because I just haven't thought about them in so long. Yeah. And I had thought that Snake Eyes was the one who was in Cobra and went to Joe. So I thought, okay, well that's cool because it's showing you how he went from bad to good. But no, that's Storm Shadow. It would have made a lot more sense if Storm Shadow was the one looking for revenge, taken up by Snake Eyes, something happens, I just think, because I don't buy that Storm Shadow becoming a Cobra assassin or a Cobra whatever at the end of this movie, because he's too good. He's too much of a good, righteous character. And he has his flaws, and I'm going to give it to the movie, is they do show that he has this knack for going a bit overboard. They do sort of put that in throughout, but it's not enough to lead me to believe that he's going to join Cobra at the end. And so, like, that's the thing, is like Storm Shadow is kind of a scumbag, and Snake Eyes is kind of a scumbag, and Storm Shadow is kind of our hero, except they switch. Like, it just, so I think it would have made better sense if Storm Shadow was Snake Eyes and Snake Eyes was Storm Shadow, if that makes sense.
Well, because Snake Eyes is a douchebag through this whole movie. Storm Shadow's actually the hero of this movie when you really think about it. And he gets screwed over by Snake Eyes over and over and over and over again. And at the end of it, he gets kicked out of his damn clan, loses everything. No shit, he's going to go ahead and ran to Cobra, even though it doesn't really make sense that he jumps to Cobra at the end. But whatever. You can see he got pissed off and was like, screw this, I'm going to do that. The clan trusts Snake Eyes repeatedly over and over again, and it's completely unearned for no reason. Like, he could kick them in the balls, and I'd be like, "Oh, help him up. Oh, okay, it's okay. We're okay with you." That's another thing that pisses me off about this movie.
And he's half American too. Don't they have rules about that kind of thing?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I know.
Well, then again, Blind Master's black, so I guess they don't care. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're just like, whatever. Everyone's down.
Blind Master, I think, great part of this movie. I wanted to see more of him. I like that actor. I liked what he does. Like, when he kicks ass, but I wanted to see more of it. He's really good.
He wasn't quite the RZA.
No, he wasn't. No, that's something crazy. All right,
like
there is no one that you can replace any of the Wu-Tang Clan with in anything. I mean,
that's just, there's nothing to fuck with. I don't know. There's just I just think Snake Eyes is a very unlikable character. The big giant telepathic snakes are a problem. The fucking Sorcerer's Stone thing that they have there is another problem of mine. I agree with you. Baroness is really awesome in this movie. She's really good. And the girl who plays Scarlet's okay, but she's like barely has anything to do.
She barely has anything to do, but I do like that scene that we get with her in the airport when she's on the phone and she's like, "Oh yeah, all right, look, hold on, I got something going on." She sets it up, and these guys come in to like mess with her, and she has her like luggage, and she pulls out, and she's got weapons and luggage. Like, I thought that was cool. Like, I wanted to see more stuff like that. Like, you know, this movie does some cool action stuff, and I really appreciate that they're trying to go into character. But you're right. I think just some of this just does not work.
And especially with Storm, I want to go back on Storm Shadow joining Cobra at the end, because that's like the mid-credit scene. During the movie, though, his clan is working with G.I. Joe apparently to take down Cobra.
Yeah.
And then he gets kicked out of the clan, so then he's just like, "Oh, well, I might as well just go run with Cobra now for no real reason."
It's not like he doesn't know Cobra was behind what happens.
They're terrorists. He knows this.
I mean, the Baroness was there. The Baroness was striking the deal. Like, the Cobra is literally responsible for what happens to his clan and him.
Yes.
And like I said, in the comics, if I might be mistaken, he joins Cobra because Snake Eyes joins G.I. Joe. That's the whole point of him joining Cobra. There's no point of him joining Cobra in this one, like you just said.
Makes no sense at all, whatsoever. And the thing, besides the giant snakes, the whole like double crossing back and forth, like Baroness is like, "I'm teaming up with you, you're teaming up with them. I'm teaming up with you." 5 minutes later, no, it's a means to an end, so I'm teaming up with you. That whole thing lost me. Where that's one of the reasons I was going to go back and watch this movie again, because I wanted to make sure I could write down who was teaming up with who, because I completely had no idea who was doing what at some point.
Well, that was that one shot in the trailer. The second trailer, when you had all of them standing together, I'm going, why is the Baroness staring next to Scarlet? Like, what is going on in this fucking movie? And then I'm the opposite of you guys, though. Baroness was okay. I really didn't like. I didn't like Teenage Scarlet. I was calling her Teenage Scarlet, and I was calling them. In my head, I was calling them Baroness 90210 and teenage and Teenage Scarlet. I was calling them Saved by the Scarlet, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't know if I'm digging them that they're that young and they're already. Did Brownish have braces, or am I just seeing things?
Oh, she did not have braces.
Okay, no. Legitimately, in some scenes, I could have swore she had braces on.
Really?
Like,
I thought you were just fucking around.
No. I could have legitimately thought she did in some scenes, but no, I'm probably wrong. But yeah, there was a certain point where I'm like, dude, why is this like 19-year-old already like the head of Cobra's like recruiting thing? They looked a little too young for me. And Scarlett looked kind of bull dyke-ish. I don't know. She didn't. I didn't really like them. I thought if you were going to have those characters, you got to have. Why have the women? And again, I'm not knocking the women, but I think you could have had other characters that we haven't seen before pop up in these movies. No, but Baroness was good though. She was good.
Scarlett's always been kind of tied in with Snake Eyes, like in the comics and the lore. So she's always had something to do with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. So I thought it made perfect sense that she was there.
And I think Baroness is a good choice because you need someone who you can't have a Destro or a Cobra Commander because this isn't a G.I. Joe movie. This is a G.I. Joe Origins movie. You want a heavy that isn't going to take the focus away. And I think like Baroness is also good for the tone. The tone of this movie is not a campy, non-silly thing. It's not what we're talking about. It's not Retaliation. So I think it's good to have the Baroness because she was able, like if you had a guy with a silver head or Cobra Commander, it adds a bit of campiness that throws off the tone of the rest of the movie.
Oh no, I didn't want them like the major characters like that. I was just thinking someone else other than someone we haven't seen before. That's all I meant by that.
All right, fair enough. That's fair.
But I liked Baroness. I did. I liked her a lot. Scarlett, I didn't really like.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. She bugged me a little bit. I don't know what it was, but she did bug me. But Baroness, I did like, and I liked her. It's okay for her to do the. I'm against you, but I need you, so I'm going to hang out with you. But as soon as I get the chance, I'm fucking out of here. That kind of thing. That I like. But instead with Snake Eyes, like you said, who's a douchebag, was supposed to set up Storm Shadow to die to get revenge because he needs to find out who has killed his father. But then he ends up going with Snake Eyes, still trying to set him up to get killed, even though Storm Shadow brought him to the safety of it. It's like, dude, it's too much going on.
And then he backstabs him like 10 times in this movie.
Yeah, and it's not the character.
The back and forth is too much. Like I liked the first one. And I was actually surprised by it when he takes the motorcycle and after he's with the Storm Shadow clan, the Ishikagi,
yeah, something like that.
I don't remember. Yeah. But when he's with the clan and then he like goes and he meets with the guy from the Yakuza, the bad guy, I like that because I was like, oh wow, that's cool. They're still doing that. But it was the back and forth. Like I think for me, and I'm always saying this is what should have happened in the movie, which whatever, it is what it is. But I think the moment that Snake Eyes finds out that Cobra's involved, he should be out. Mm-hmm. But like there should have been some sort of information he gave them that allowed them to go and get the jewel anyway, and then he gets to because what happens is he steals the jewel and gives it to the bad guy and then goes, I've made a mistake, and then goes back and fixes it seconds later. It's like, no, they shouldn't accept you. I mean, they shouldn't kill you. You did help them get the jewel back, which you stole, but you shouldn't be accepted here. And I think that's the thing is like they make him go too far. Like stealing the jewel and betraying everyone in that clan, I think is a bit too far for that character. Had it been like I was there to betray you, I decided not to. Yes. But information I gave helped Cobra get what you needed, so now I have to help you. That's a bit better because it's like, okay, you had the change of heart before it was too late. I can trust you, and you know what I'm saying? So I just think the way they set it up just didn't work for what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and his entire story was to kill the guy who killed his father. So he gives the jewel to the bad guys, gets the guy in a chair, tied up, and then goes, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, what do you mean? What are you talking?
Right.
That's the whole thing. The whole movie was based on him killing that guy. Now, I'm not saying he should have killed him because he is technically the good guy. But like you said, it should have been turned sooner. He should have been turned earlier to say, holy shit, what did I just do? I can't. And just like, and you had to say it. When they start the chase with the jewel, you had to have the girl say, oh, Snake Eyes is fighting on our side now.
Yeah.
And Storm Shadow was like,
what?
Like, even he was like, I don't know. I'm still going to kill him. And they start fighting each other. So it's again, all that stuff doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
This movie tries to, it really like gets tied up under its own and trips itself up when it tries to do way too much. Just
too much.
It's way too much.
It can be a very simple movie. You don't have to go all crazy with the movie. But like I said, the whole movie's based on him getting revenge. He has his shot, then he's like, "Shit, I probably shouldn't have done this."
And
like, dude, now you realize. Now you realize it.
The thing that brings him to his moment of realization is, well, I do what Cobra tells me to. Wait, you're Cobra? Cobra is an evil terrorist organization that does shady things. It's like that. That's why you hit the nail on the head. It was too late to turn him. That moment needed to happen way before because he literally watches.
He did know Cobra was the bad guys before.
Yes,
he did already know. So now all of a sudden it's like, oh, because you're with Cobra now.
That's the thing. Oh wait. So the whole thing is like, I'm cool with Cobra trying to destroy other people's lives, but once they destroy my life, now things are going down. It's like that you're not really a hero then. You're just being reactionary because you were directly affected. Like, because again, we can't ignore that he does see the Yakuza boss take the gem, call one of his people over, and burn him alive. And he just goes, it's not my fight.
Yeah, where's my guy? Where's my reward?
Right. So it's like it's an unearned moment. This moment needed to come sooner.
Yeah, and I think it's well put. It also says that the guy that's in the Yakuza, he sees Storm Shadow when Storm Shadow is undercover with facial hair in the beginning of the movie. He doesn't notice him the entire time. Really?
That's his cousin?
He had no idea that was him.
Facial
that
hair.
was really stupid. Facial hair. That's it. If Tim shaves right now, I have no idea who he is.
Good Spock, bad Spock. You whip a goatee on somebody, they're completely different.
It's unbelievable.
That's right.
So,
I wouldn't have thought that was my cousin. I would have been like, "Are you Mirror Universe cousin who's here to kill me because you're evil?"
Yeah. You're my cousin with a goatee. That must be you're from another universe.
That's right. By the way, Tim, I love that you're making the Star Trek references.
Hey, Mirror, Mirror, classic episode.
Great episode.
Oh boy. All right, so I guess that pretty much, kind of like, let's put a bow on this and wrap this up for our G.I. Joe extravaganza.
Guys, I think, if I may, I think the thing that we learned here is that it's hard to make a franchise out of action figure things, because so many people are looking for different things in nostalgia. Some people are looking for seriousness, while other people are looking for balls to the walls craziness. So maybe the answer is to not make these movies unless we're really committed to making them the way they should be. Now you know, and
knowing is half the battle.
Half the battle. Sorry, I couldn't help but do a PSA at the end.
Absolutely.
No, I agree. You know who should do it on? James Gunn.
I would love to see James Gunn, because James Gunn is really good with ensemble casts.
Exactly.
And
that's
because Suicide Squad's getting already
incredible
best DC movie ever reviews. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
If Suicide Squad isn't phenomenal, I'm going to be really surprised.
You might as well just quit. You might as well just quit DC. Just quit those movies.
Yeah. Here's the thing: if James Gunn can't make a phenomenal DC movie, no one can. Let's just say that, right?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I think it's actually currently like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and they're like around 50 already. So it's not like 10 of them are in. There's quite a lot of them.
But if they make another one of these movies, I mean, I think I said they should go straight up martial arts ninja fucking Snake Eyes, trying to get him to come back to reality. But maybe Storm Shadow, he loses it now. He's an assassin. He's killing people. He doesn't want to come back, and he's angry about the whole clan thing. But he doesn't have the balls to go fight the Blind Master or anything like that, because they'll know they'll whoop his ass. But yeah, I mean, that should be the next movie. There shouldn't be no campiness. Even leave out Joe's and Cobra to a certain degree until maybe the end, where they're like, Snake Eyes, this guy's with Cobra, you got to come with us. You're this, you're that. Then he finally joins, and he either has to take the vow of silence or lose his voice in the acts. I think, Jason, you weren't here for that part. We were talking about how Snake Eyes lost his voice. It was two different versions.
Yeah,
vow of silence, and in the comic books, he lost his voice to a bomb. A bomb went off in Vietnam, and he lost his voice box.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why when I first saw the Rise of Cobra, I was like, he didn't take a vow of silence. He can't talk.
Yeah.
And he wears the mask because he's all fucked up. But this one was just like, no, he wears a mask because he wants to, and he can't talk because he doesn't want to.
That's the one thing I thought we were going to get in this movie too, is that we never got him losing his voice at any moment. I thought it was going to happen at the final battle or something like that, where there was going to be something where someone was going to like slice part of his neck or something, and he was going to lose his voice box like that or something. But
like you said, this dude's an up and coming star.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that right away. But if you're going to keep making these movies, it has to happen at some point, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And sorry, you casted a guy. I mean, it's Snake Eyes. He needs to have his mask on with his visor down and all of that, and he doesn't need to talk. So I'm sorry, either go get Ray Park back or whatever like that. Go find him to take over from now on and just pretend it's Henry Golding under there. Or you just screwed up, and that's it. I mean, the box office wasn't great for this, so I don't know where they're going to go with this from here.
By the way, how are you guys feeling about how he got his name?
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I don't like it at all.
It's not the code name. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about this. We talked about code names earlier. So everyone is calling him Snake Eyes. Literally, everyone's calling him Snake Eyes.
Yeah, that's
by the time he gets to G.I. Joe.
They even call him like Snake. Hey, Snake, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That I thought like the fact he should have been. He should never have been called Snake Eyes. He should have maybe referred to himself as that or whatever. Like. I don't mind the way he got it. I know it's not cartoon accurate, but I think the fact that everyone is Snake this, Snake that, Snake Eyes, Snake Eyes, Snake, Snake Eyes, I think that's a bit ridiculous. Like, if I decided that my name was, I don't know, Monkeyin, you guys wouldn't start calling me Monkeyin. All right, Jason. Oh, yeah, all right. Monkeyin, okay. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like you can't give yourself a nickname. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Well, I had that fight with Peter a long time ago, Jason. He's like, I want you guys to call me Doc from now. I said, dude, you don't give yourself a nickname. It can't be done. So now I'm gonna call you Pussy Fingers because you just said because you want me to call you something that I'm not gonna call you because you can't give yourself a nickname, Pussy Fingers. So move on. Of course, I didn't call him Pussy Fingers, but that was just this is my reference I was making.
Yeah, no, of course. But that's a good point. That's a good point. Like, you can't give yourself the nickname. No. I didn't give myself Spider in my 20s.
No, and I never called you that just because I just never did. You were Jason before that, so I never switched it.
I didn't know your real name for about 2 years, so you were Spider to me.
Oh, really?
I didn't even know you. Bear. I didn't know his name for the first 2 years.
Right.
I knew him.
That's right, because we didn't actually go to high school together. Because I always lump you in mentally with my high school friends.
Oh, I came in later.
Yeah, that's right.
One time, Bear called the house today. It's Mike. I said, "Who the fuck is Mike?" He's like, "Bear." I said, "Holy shit, you got a real name?" I didn't know that. Just like this with you too. They were like, "Oh, Jason." I said, "I don't know anybody named Jason." Jason. Like, who the fuck is Jason? Spider. Oh, Spider. Okay.
Yeah, that might have been me referring to him as that because I felt like I was the only one who didn't.
Yeah.
No. I said that to Peter, though. Peter Gray, he said, call me Doc. I said, all right, I want you to call me Golden Eagle Man. He's like, why? I said, why not? We handed out nicknames. We're holding out nicknames. And then I said, this is from now on, I am the man who walks alone. That's how you're gonna call me. I will not answer to Tim. I am the man who walks alone. He said, I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it. I was like, dude, you can't give yourself a nickname. It doesn't work that way. It's just the rules of the world.
All right, so you're going to call us Granny's PC going forward. So if you liked what you heard here, though, tonight, go ahead, check out Pop Culture Pros. If you're on YouTube, go ahead, click on subscribe. Check out all our shows. If you want to see more of Tim is starting his he's got a Star Wars show coming up, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to be pretty damn awesome. Tim is the walking Star Wars encyclopedia. I've been referring to this years. I'm sure he's going to kill it with that. He also has a wrestling show called the Just Too Sweet Show. He does with Eric there on Tuesday nights. You can go ahead and find them there. If you're a Yankees fan, you can check out me and Lisa on the Empire 161 show. Yankees had a big win tonight, too, and a big trade, so you can come. We'll be talking about that on Sunday night. If you're a Mets fan, you can check out the Put It in the Book show with Faraci and the guys. I believe they're on. No, we're not checking.
I like busting those balls.
And if, I also know Kyle and Jader did their own review of Snake Eyes. So
they did three reviews offline, and then
1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, I saw that. It was impressive. So go ahead. Listen to our Snake Eyes review. You can check out theirs, see what you think. Go check out the movie anyway. 4 Quarters show. You can go ahead and check that out. I know they're on and off and all over. A to Z show is actually moving from Sundays to Mondays starting next week because Eric and I had worked it out because me and Lisa are going to be doing Empire 161 for the next couple of Sundays. So go ahead and check that one out. We'll be back next week with our next episode of Granny's Peach Tea, which we are going to do. We're all 80s cards. We're stuck in the 80s right now. We're going to be doing an old Masters of the Universe show. That's right. The Kevin Smith produced Masters of the Universe Revelation show, which I checked it out already. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to talk to you guys about it. And we're also going to throw in Nice. That's right. Tim met Kevin Smith at Secret Stash on Sunday.
Tim has met Kevin Smith so many times. I swear you're like 3 meetings away from being his friend.
I hope so.
I mean, seriously, like you have so many pictures with him. You've met him when he was filming in Ridgewood, when he was doing the Cop Out movie. There we go. Like, honestly,
can I take your order?
I want to live in a world where you are. I don't even need to ever meet Kevin Smith. I want to live in a world where you are Kevin Smith's friend.
Listen, I asked him, can I be in Clerks 3? I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to ask him. And he was cool. He goes, you know you can. And I almost shit my pants when he said that. But then he hit me with the comma. Look for the casting call for extras. I was like, son of a bitch.
And that's fair.
But I am going to look for the casting call. And I'm going to go for it. I figured it's once in a lifetime. I'm going to go for it.
Does he ever recognize you? Because you've met him a ton of times.
Now, one, he's probably seen 1,000 people 1,000 times. Fair. And two, he smokes a lot of weed.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, no, I don't think he remembers me.
It's not a ding if he doesn't recognize you. It just would have been how awesome if he did, you know?
Yeah, it's true. It is true. But I probably would have died if he did.
So check us out next week for Masters of the Universe. We're going to do the live-action Dolph Lundgren movie. We're going to talk about that. Yes, we are. So, Tim, if you want, I know Masters of the Universe weren't your thing, but you're welcome to come back next week and hang out with us, and we could talk about that shit fest again. Sure. And we're going to throw in we're going to try to find the holiday special. Yes, where Skeletor loves Christmas and She-Ra and all this whole thing.
There is a He-Man She-Ra Christmas special where Skeletor helps them save Christmas. It has a lot of the secondary characters from He-Man and She-Ra in it. We are going. It's.
We're trying to find it. We can find it. We're doing it.
Oh, I own it on DVD actually.
All right, so then we have it. If I need it, I can go pick it up from Jason's house, and then we'll do that then. So
we can do it. It's just a matter of making it work.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So check it out. We hope to see you next week. Thanks for joining us. And stay safe, everybody. Peace.
Later.